You're 12 yards from this bear?
Well, when I finally release, it's 9. We get on this logging road, and this really nice 8-foot grizzly comes out and just stares us down. And all of a sudden, the sow runs out onto the road, and she looks right at us because we're standing there. He thinks he's losing her to the other bear.
No shit.
So he comes tearing down the road at us. I come to full draw, 50, 60 yards out, and he's coming right at us. My arrow thumped. You could see him look at us.
All right, Allen.
Yo.
You're an interesting one in so many different ways because I have been a secret creeper for years. I don't know why I admitted that, but I've just watched you. You're a very interesting person on so many different levels as far as, one, you're a world-class trophy hunter. You kill some of the biggest animals I've ever seen in my life. And that was a big reason I wanted to have you come on today because I did a poll not too long ago and the audience, a lot of people said they wanted to hear some hunting stories. And I feel since you were rolling through town, what better to ask a Boone and Crockett, Pope and Young, or not Pope, you're more Pope and Young with the archery side of things.
I do both.
Okay,
yeah,
so you
definitely.
chase world-class animals.
Yeah, we could talk about the difference in Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young
Yes.
and what they do, but I pay attention to both very closely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to dive into trophy hunting because there's such a horrible stigma that comes with it. Because I think through Disney as young kids, we're already grooming kids at a young age that.
Well, by the way, you know, the first hunting movie I ever saw was Bambi. That was a good buck.
It's solid.
It was a good
solid. I've said it before. I'm like, I'd hammer the shit out of that deer. And so I want to go into that because, you know, we're just marked as these hillbillies. We're shooting everything and nobody cares about the actual animal, the habitat, everything that goes into what we love as outdoorsmen. So I want to get into that. And if we have time, I know you're on a time hack. You're a very meticulous person as far as you dive into things that I've watched and you master them. And I'm sure you've mastered life through business and through family and a bunch of other stuff. So we have times, aren't we all trying? I'd like to kind of maybe get into that. But main part of this topic is I want to open up because I have such a vast audience from the women's side of things that follow a lot of our guests that have gone through pretty traumatic things to blue collar workers. And I want to just be able to shed some light on that. Not all hunters are these horrible, disgusting people that were made out to be, because a lot of times I end up finding myself agreeing with these anti-hunting groups as far as animal cruelty, farms, chickens, how cows, and I try to defend the hunting community as far as, hey, we don't agree with this either. Like, that's animal cruelty, but we've been painted in such this picture as these crazy hillbilly just don't care about anything, which there is that demographic out there that gives us the bad name. So here we are.
Oddly enough, trophy hunting is so misunderstood, and it's as far away from that as you could possibly get, even compared to hunting in general.
Okay. So before we dive in, normally we have a fresh loaf of bread, but this is a snap shot really quick. You rolling through town, just landed, swooped you off the plane. But I got an awesome shirt for you. It's actually a tank top. I know you're a pretty fit dude. You're huge in the jiu-jitsu. His name is Chris. He's the owner of Linear. Something we do different on this podcast is I give law enforcement, first responders, small businesses opportunities to send us product to give to guests as gifts. So I could promote, you know, veterans, guys that are just trying to make it. I remember how it is. I mean, everybody sitting in this room right now is all started from nowhere. And I try to give everybody an opportunity. So we're going to send you home with a cool tank top from Linear. Nate, he went through buds, ended up getting injured right at the end and got dropped. Whole entire life was based off of that. So we ended up shifting gears, and now he puts out some really high performance fitness apparel, and
I'll wear it with pride.
Perfect. All right. So just like we start every episode, bro, who are you? Where are you from?
Allen Bolen. I live in Utah. I grew up in Washington State. My family, middle-class family growing up, my dad was a house painter, and I grew up working my butt off. I'll tell you, like, it's hard to describe the grind we went through as, like, from 7th grade through, you know, after high school. You know, I worked every weekend, like 10, 12-hour days.
How many kids in your family?
6 of us.
How many boys?
4 boys, 2 girls.
Okay. Yeah. Where do you fall in this line?
I'm the oldest. Yeah.
Oh, so you're leading the path for all the siblings. Okay. All right.
So we worked a lot. So the summers, like I didn't have a day off all summer long. We would work a lot of times 7 days a week, all summer long, painting houses with my dad. And, he eked out a great living for the family as a house painter, small business. But I grew up, I watched him. I learned a lot about business from watching how they did things in a good way. I learned the right things to do. I always thought to myself, if he could just scale this, if he could just scale what he does here, he would make so much money because the customer service, the quality, everything is there. It's just not scaled. Zero advertising, all word of mouth. And they just, they if they get too many jobs, they would just raise the price.
Okay.
That's how they would control which was extremely smart. He's controlling the supply and demand curve, right? We talked about that earlier, but yeah. But that's how I grew up, oldest of 6. And, I went to college in Idaho at Rick's College. I wrestled a couple years there. And then with just life happening, I got married. We got pregnant really early and my wife actually got sick and I had to stop. I had to stop doing things that I wanted to do. I had to focus on school. I had to work full time and go to school. And then I ended up stopping school. I was about 10 classes from graduating and I started the business. And I still own that business.
No, how old were you when you started this business?
I would have been 24, 23.
And
I'm 50.
Dang, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's been a lot of fun. And
what's the business, if you don't mind me asking?
So it's a variety of home services. We did home security for a long time. Then we did move to home automation, like lights, locks, thermostats, video. Then we've done a lot of solar. Today we're doing a lot of roofing. So today we're doing roofing and solar primarily, but it's direct sales. I have guys that go out and knock on doors and then we fulfill service. Interestingly enough, not too far off from what my dad did, but scaled up.
Interesting.
We do home service. And in fact, my grandfather was in the home service industry since the 1950s. So I guess I could say this is a, multi-generational. I mean, it's not the same company, but it's in the blood. We get into people's homes and do things that they need us to do.
How many sales reps do you have?
About 100.
I was not expecting that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is are you nationwide then?
Yeah. I mean, we've worked in over 25 states.
Good for you.
I mean,
man.
currently I'm in 5.
Good for
I have 5
you.
branches. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So what's that? Okay. So as somebody that's been owned your own business for 25 plus years, what's been the hardest thing?
Oh, that's a great question. Business, when you're in business, you're almost always out of money. Cash is critical.
Yep.
I mean, you can be making money, but not have the cash you hear this, of course. I mean, you hear like Jansen Wong talking about like NVIDIA is always 30 days from going out of business. And obviously that's one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yep.
But cash is king. And so there's been so many times where it feels like there's no way through. Like I've closed big deals. Like, I've closed $50 million bank deals and multiple of them to finance the business, to like retain like recurring revenue customers. I don't want to get too complicated with this, but the point is there's times where it didn't look like those deals were going to close. Like one of the was during COVID. They backed out of a deal we needed to have happen because of COVID. And literally I thought we were going out of business. I thought that was it. And there's been so many times I'm like, well, it was a good ride, but we just kept pushing forward. And you just get up the next day and sometimes you feel like you're going to war and the stress is so intense. You can't even sleep at night and you get a few hours of sleep and you just go back to the office and you work another 12-hour day and somehow you eke through.
Yep.
And I think that would be the message I would send is it's never over. It's like, maybe it is over at some point, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I preach about it a lot, especially when I mentor young entrepreneurs and guys that we'll just take the podcast, for instance. I help a lot of people start and get going on their podcast and then they'll get going like, dude, nothing, nobody's 200 views. And then I send them mine. I'm like, hey bro, here's February to February of our very first year. And there's not even a blip on the radar. And, and then now I bring my kid in house and now she's watching this and I'm like, oh, fuck it. It's one thing, to have pressure of being a business owner, but then when you start adding friends and family to it, that not saying she depends on me, but I want her to see success. And it's never quitting. That's where and I hate preaching this because I've always been one of those guys like, oh, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And then all of a sudden one day it just like, there's this little, where you're like, hey, we can't quit. This is not even an option. And then that you start believing that. And so it's like, okay, well, this whole month sucked. We barely got any views. Downloads are way down, or we're not even monetized. Everything sucks. Like, and you just want to quit. But like, that's not an option. Then you just keep, even though you feel that you're just doing it for nothing. And then all of a sudden, a month after, you get a little blip on the radar and you're like, holy shit, we broke 1,000 downloads.
Yeah.
And then the next month it jumps to 5. And then that, and I explain it as that snowball on the top of the mountain that just, you can't notice it moving, but then one day it just plops. And then that momentum gets going. And but that could take 2 years, 5 years, 8 years into a business. But I feel the majority of people quit before that part because they get to those hurdles and they're like, oh, this is it. This is the end. We're going to pop smoke and then move on to the next adventure. But instead of probably what you've done 1,000 times over the last 20 something years, how do we pivot?
Yeah.
How do we make up for this loss? Okay. We need to push harder on this department. Hey, this is trending right now. Roofs. We need to really start hitting the pavement on putting in hit these old subdivisions that these guys' roofs are probably due. Yeah. Let's start door knocking. So,
well, there's not anything we do in our lives, or at least I'll speak for my life. There's nothing I do that's not like that. You know, when I started jujitsu, like I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started training 6 days a week. And I went every single day, every week after week after week. And I wanted to win tournaments. And, you know, I didn't always win in the beginning. And I just kept going and going and going. And even though it feels like you're not getting anywhere, it's like a drop a day.
Yep.
And it just
in a bucket.
And it just slowly fills up and you can't see it. And I think so many people, they need to see results. And we can get into this with trophy hunting too, because like a lot of people just shoot something because they want to see a result, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to shoot until I find this absolute monster or whatever. And it's the same thing. It's like moving forward a drop at a time, believing, having faith that someday it's going to turn into something. And it may not, but the only way you can ever find out is if you do what you need to do every day. I think that sometimes when we set big goals, they can actually become a distraction because you think about the goal. In fact, I've heard recently that neurologists say that goal setting can be negative because we give ourselves a dopamine hit when we talk about the goal. Like, oh, I'm going to make $10 million. And you make yourself feel good by saying that. But you forget to connect that back to the daily actions that take you there.
And you start dreaming of that. And
you think about that. But what do you got to do every day? What do you got to do every day to get there?
Yeah.
And daily actions are the key to accomplishing any of this stuff.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's where, and you saying that is hilarious because I've worked with so many guys who are like, we're turning this into this, dude. This is, dude, 2 years from now, it's a $10 million company.
They love hearing that.
And that's all they talk about.
They love hearing that.
And then you're 4 years in, you're like, okay, what are we doing to get to this point? Yeah. And it's funny you say that because my wife and I talk about that all the time. It's like, okay, here's our goal, but let's take little bites. Yeah. Little bites. Okay, how do we accomplish this to get to the next level? Okay, what's the next? Instead of just starting here's my end goal. There's a million check marks on the way and just start filling those boxes and just start checking them off. It's interesting that you say that. Okay, so business-wise, real quick, what's been one of the biggest learning lessons of having a business for 25 years?
Well, yeah, I want to think of the right thing. I've learned so much.
100%.
I mean, I've learned that bigger is not always better.
Why is that?
Well, it's like back in the old during the .com boom. The joke was we may have negative margins, but we'll make up for it with volume.
Okay.
Like a negative number times a million is still a negative number, right? So, you know, I would rather have, you know, a highly profitable business that's not doing as much as one that's like out of control. And I've been there where I mentioned we've been in 25 states. Like I at one point had hundreds of sales reps and over 100 operations people. And we weren't making great money doing that. It was inefficient because it was so big, it became inefficient. So I have learned that, you know, you have to look at your unit economics and make sure that you have scaled the business correctly.
Where I feel you could probably get way into the weeds really fast, because I would say now with social media, the image of everything, everybody immediately, and you hear all these guys, we're going to 10X you, we're going to 10X you. And I've been part of a lot of stuff where it's like, do we want to 10X? How many problems is this going to bring in? Not in a way that you're hindering your growth of your own business, but is that the immediate goal? Or what if we 2X it? Now we raise the price a little bit. We 2X what we're doing. So we're making more money, but we're really not doing a ton of extra work or bringing on all these other states or employees to do that.
Well, you got to think about your quality of life too, because there are two assets we have. One is our capital, our money. Okay. The other is our time. So if you're making tons of money and you have no time, why are you making the money? It doesn't make any sense to make millions or whatever you're after and have zero time to enjoy that.
Or with your family or wife.
Exactly.
And kids. Okay, so let me ask you this then. This is a question. I go to a lot of these networking events and I sit down with these big guys and we used to work. I partnered with Michael Jordan on Uber, whatever, right? I've talked to them all. One question I always ask them is, how did you get to this level of wealth, but also have a relationship with your family?
Yeah.
Is that where you tie that in? Is that a balance that you've found hard or easy over the years?
Yeah. I mean, I do like Q&As on my social, and probably the number one question I get asked is, how do you balance it all? And I've frankly never had a hard time with that, because first of all, family's first. Mm-hmm. That is the first thing that goes off the, well, let's back up. So if I'm going to look at my day, 24 hours, I'm going to take 16 and take it off because I have to sleep and I have to work.
Okay.
So I have 16 hours, work and sleep. And this doesn't include weekends. These are weekdays. Mm-hmm. So that gives me 24 minus 16. I have 8 hours left. So if I spend 3 hours eating and with my family, that still gives me 5 hours. So I go to jujitsu for an hour and a half. I shoot my bow for an hour. Okay. I still have 3 hours. Like, what are you doing with your time if you don't have time? Like, I can do everything I want to do in 24 hours. Mm-hmm. You know what they're doing? They're watching sports and they're scrolling social. Mm. And I find those two things to be the absolute biggest waste of time on earth. And you may love your sports, whatever, people love their sports, but at the end of the day, you're watching somebody else do something. Mm-hmm. Would you rather do it yourself or watch somebody do something?
We hear it all the time. I don't have time. But you had time to scroll for 3 hours.
That's right. No, I'm telling you, man, I've been there. Like, I'm like, what did I just do at the last hour of my life? Mm-hmm. I mean, I got sucked into the algorithm that knew exactly what I wanted to see.
And it's getting good.
It's dangerous. Oh man. It's like, I mean, I love scrolling Instagram because it shows me the things I love to see, but I know I can't.
So are you the type of dude that has are you a wake up at the exact same time?
I'm not. What do they call that? They have the word for that. The morning.
The ritual guys?
Yeah. What do they call it though? It's like a common, you need to have your process every morning, but there's a specific word for it. I can't believe I just forgot.
Like the structure or?
Structure, yeah. Whatever it is. That's not the right word, but somebody want to look that up? What am I saying? Routine. Yeah, routine. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a routine guy. Like, I like doing things at different times every day. Sometimes I train jujitsu at 6 a.m. Sometimes I do 10 a.m. Sometimes I do 6 p.m. Sometimes I lift in the morning. Sometimes I lift at night. The only thing I do pretty consistently is I sauna at night just because it's sort of easier to remember. But I don't feel like routines make versatile people.
Oh, okay. Thank God. Because that's been one of my biggest battles as a family here, is because I feel we waste a lot of time, but that's our choice because we're just spending family time.
Sure. That's good though.
100%. So it's not like a big negative, but I hound the wife. I'm like, we have to get into a routine because I feel our life is just so wild chaos that we'll lose track or fuck, we needed to send this 3 days ago and I forgot. So how do you balance it? Are you a calendar guy where you're marking it out, or you've just done this long enough that you've found the routine for you?
I have 5 or 6 things that I have to do every day that I have to fit in. Okay. I just do them at different times.
Got it.
So, I'm going to train every day. I'm going to lift 3 times a week. I'm going to go to work obviously every day. I'm going to post something on social every day. And so those things I just make sure I get done. And it's not always at the same time. I'm just not a routine guy. Yeah. Like I don't like getting up and being like beholden to some routine. I just find that my brain doesn't work well that way. I need to be a little more random.
And it's boring.
I still make sure I get it done.
Yeah. That's how I feel, because I work with, in I have a community with a bunch of men, and some of these guys are so up every day at this time, eat at this time, out the door at this time. And I if my life depended on it, there's no way.
I'm not into it.
They can't.
You can be very productive. Without doing that.
Okay.
But some people need it probably. I think everybody's probably built differently.
For sure. But now when you get on social, you see the grind bros. Got to get up at 5, ice bath, run 6 miles, gym. And then they get for this routine. And I sit there and I'm like, do you got kids? Do you got a wife? I mean, are you just an influencer that's creating content all day? Because there's a real world out there of real problems, because now you got to go to the doctors, you got to dent it, your kid's sick, you got to drop off. There's just life.
Well, that's where I get back into it. Doesn't make versatile people. So I can handle any sort of chaos or whatever, like some emergency at work. It doesn't throw me off because I'm used to doing things in random orders. Like if I wake up in the morning and I see 50 text messages about an emergency, it's no big deal. Yeah. I just handle that. It's not like I wasn't planning on doing 50 things this morning in a particular order. It doesn't throw me out of any sort of, it doesn't put me in a funk. I can handle it, no problem.
And it's probably a much easier living more of a controlled chaos life rather than some rigid structured life, because then when a fire pops up, then you're snowballing. Everything's just almost tumbling out of control at that point. And then that adds even more onto your plate, because now you're trying to get the train back on the tracks.
Yeah, I think that the stress level for somebody who's very structured when things don't go as planned, I see that I have a daughter who's very structured. She's extremely disciplined and structured, and I admire her for that. But I do see that when things don't go her way, she gets super stressed and bugged about it. Like, I don't deal with that.
Yeah, that's probably a big trade-off. That's the mindset of the people that get overwhelmed. They need the structure versus somebody that would probably look at our life and absolutely come unglued. If a structured person, if they were in our home for a day, there's days, because we're night owl people. That's when we get a huge chunk of our work done.
I go to bed at a different time every single night.
I couldn't even tell you it's between midnight. It's probably between 11:30 and 1:30 in the morning is our bedtime.
Nice.
But then at the same time, I'm sleeping in till whenever I want, because that's the life we've built, and that's my schedule.
Man, you need your sleep.
Some days I'm up at 7, some days I'm up at 9, and that's nice, because obviously I know it needs to get done, but I'm not stressing on it, because I'm like, God, we're getting to bed late. We just sent out 15 emails, had to do all this research. Now it's 2 a.m. I'm like, okay, I don't need to be up at 7, because that's not my routine. I'll just figure it out, and I'll get to the gym. I'll get the work done. We'll get the dog walked, whatever we got to do.
I think there's a risk though, that some folks, that if they don't have things scheduled, they do end up scrolling or playing video games or whatever. So I do track things. Like I know how much time I spend on Instagram. I look at the reports. Like I do hold myself accountable. It's not like I just wake up and go whatever the way the wind blows me. That's the way I'm going. I make sure I get my crap done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift gears into this trophy hunting.
All right.
Because
now we're talking.
Yeah. Well, I guess first, what got in you? How'd you get into the hunting industry, or just into hunting in general?
Yeah. So that's a great question, man. So when my dad didn't hunt.
Interesting.
And so when I was a kid, my grandpa would tell me hunting stories. And my grandpa grew up in Eastern Washington. Okay. Believe it or not, like when he was a kid, his family, they were migrant farm workers during the Depression.
Ouch.
Like that's as low on the totem pole.
That's
like
rough.
They lived in tents and followed the harvest. Crazy. Dang. My grandpa dropped out of school in 4th grade. And so they did a lot of hunting to survive.
For sure.
And he told me these stories of shooting elk and shooting carp out of a lake, and these cool stories that just they fascinated me. And so when I was 11 or 12, 11, I think, we had this magazine drive at school. We were supposed to sell magazine subscriptions. And I personally bought the Outdoor Life subscription. And for years, I read every issue cover to cover. And I was so fascinated with these stories. And I would ask my grandpa, tell me more hunting stories. And he'd tell me these stories sometimes over and over again. And I just loved it. And my dad didn't hunt. I mean, I would ask him he did take me walking around a couple times with a shotgun.
A walk through the woods, yeah.
I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. I know what he did, right? We didn't kill anything. And then I got into wrestling in high school. started wrestling. It was my life. And I wrestled in high school and a couple of years of college. And when I stopped wrestling, I started thinking about hunting again. I was like, okay, that is the thing that fascinated me the most my entire life was hunting. And I just started that by myself. I knew a couple buddies that had hunted a little bit, but they weren't like they weren't like way into it. But I'm like, hey man, let's go hunting. They're like, okay, we can try. And we would go out hunting. And I remember I shot my first deer with a rifle. I was 24 years old, I guess. And it was life-changing.
Where was this at?
It was in Utah, down south, Fountain Green, I believe, was the closest town. And we hiked way back in and we had some bad experiences. We hunted as much as we could. The rifle season was only like 8 days long. You know, we like so many hunters. It sounded like an artillery going off. In some ways I was disillusioned. Like, man, this isn't too cool. Like there's people everywhere.
War zone. Yeah.
Yeah. But we stuck with it. And I think like later that, like as a Thursday of the next week, we went in there and there was very many people.
Okay.
And we hiked super far back in and we see this buck off in the distance and it's all frosty and this buck. And I had, another thing is we had missed a bunch of shots too.
Oh, okay.
And we had like this, I found out my Tasco scope was like falling off. And so I went in and I like threw down the money as like a poor newlywed for a Leopold scope and got like the mount. And I sighted in that Wednesday night. I talked the pistol range into letting me shoot it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And so I shot it and shot like a 1-inch low at 25 yards or whatever. I'm like, let's see what happens.
Give her help.
So anyway, we went out the next day and we see this buck and we had missed like easy shots at like little spikes, you know?
Okay.
And we see this buck and it's out there at like 250 yards. And he stopped and he like turns a little bit and he's like, you gonna shoot him? And I'm like on my knee. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot him. I squeeze it off and he just drops. I couldn't believe it because I don't know. I just had kind of lost faith. And I had like almost thought like, is hunting for me? Like, this is not like when I'm missing these shots and people are shooting all over the place. It's just like this chaos. Yep. Like it wasn't very fun the first couple days we went on that opening weekend. But that moment, like we had the mountain to ourselves. And I one shot killed actually a 5x5, 4x4 with eye guards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your first deer?
First deer. I mean, it wasn't like, it's like a 140-inch deer.
Yeah.
But to me, it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh, for sure.
And I walked up to that buck, putting my hands. I mean, you know, people say like, oh, other than when I had kids, no, this was better than that. I'm kidding. But it was incredible. Mm-hmm. That moment, like when I laid my hands on my first buck, I was like, this is what I'm. You
were hooked, huh?
This is it. Yeah,
no
I was
shit.
hooked.
That's all it took.
Hooked. Yeah.
What was it? Okay, so from there, now you got the bug.
Yeah.
Did you stick rifle for a while before?
1 year.
Because you're a huge archery guy.
Yeah. So here's what got me. So I actually that next year, I can't remember. I guess I bought or drew or I can't remember what it was, but I had a rifle tag and I heard about the extended archery season in Utah that lasts like at that time you could have like 4 months from like August 20th through the end of December. So more than 4 months. I was like, I could hunt every weekend, every day I have off for 4 months. I don't care if it's harder to kill something. I want to be in the mountains.
Yep.
Because this rifle season is only 8 days long. So it was just the fact that there was a 4-month season. That's the only reason I switched to archery.
No, okay.
Originally.
Okay.
And so I remember turning in my rifle tag and trading it for a bow tag, which apparently you could do back then. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Whatever, 25 years ago. So, and then I went and bought a bow at a bow shop and I just started shooting every day. And I'm like, this is actually really cool. I would watch the arrow fly. Like the flight of an arrow is a gorgeous thing.
It is.
You know, and I remember when I first started, I could hardly hit my target. And then the groups got smaller and smaller and smaller until I was shooting pretty good. And then I went out bow hunting that year.
How'd that go?
I killed a doe and it was amazing. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that for first in life, but I hate archery hunting.
Nice.
I absolutely hate archery hunting.
Hey,
I kill a lot.
It's fair. I get it.
I
know
kill
enough
a lot
about
with
it.
a bow, but I hate it.
Yeah.
It's that you can taste it. And then you need 1,000 stars to align for you to just release. And then there's another 1,000 stars that need to align as that arrow's traveling through the air.
Yeah.
So I have a very, like most archery hunters, I have a love, especially hate relationship with archery hunting, but there's nothing that you will ever forget than watching your first arrow just into something.
Man.
And
hearing that sound,
it's the cleanest sound. And so it's this rush and it'll hook you, but then there's guys like probably you that it just consumes. And then your whole life is just about archery hunting.
Yeah.
And that was a doe, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that was, at that time, the buck season, I believe it ended December or November 30th or whatever. And then on December 1st. So I was chasing these bucks and I hunted them enough where there was like specific bucks like this, I'd stalked this particular buck a bunch. And so on the next day after the buck season ended, I went doe hunting. And of course, this giant 3-point that was literally a 30-inch wide 3-point that I had hunted over and over and over again stepped out in front of me at 9 yards broadside and had no idea. He's looking off the mountain. And I'm at full draw. I just drew just instinctively, right? And I remember all of my pins were on his chest. And I'm just like, I felt like throwing up. Like after how many times I had hunted these deer. And so whatever, I let him walk away. And then later that afternoon, I shot a doe.
Oh shit.
A mule deer doe, spot and stock, 50-yard shot. My first year bow hunting. And it meant a lot to me. A lot.
There's a rush, at least for me, that comes with archery hunting that is really hard to find anywhere else. Even if there's something about being on the ground, there's a bull coming, screaming in your face. You got cows piling by you. You can't even hear anything because your ears are just maxed with adrenaline ringing. You draw back and then everything goes to shit. And but that peak and that taste of just a little bit you almost lined up is what sucks me back in every single year. I'm like, all right, I'll get another fucking archery tag, I guess. Yeah. And then I'm up there chasing elk all September and just loving life and nothing. You're either successful or you're not, but it's still the rush that I get where with a rifle, I mean, I've seen enough giant animals hit the ground and through a scope, and I don't ever get a rush in a scope. It always comes afterward. Yeah. But there's something when you can see that your broadhead is just going crazy. You can't even hardly draw, and this thing's coming and crashing. I mean, it's a whole other feeling.
There's a huge difference being 30 yards from something and being 250 yards from something.
100%.
I mean, like anything you do, if you breathe too hard, they'll hear it. You move an inch, they'll hear it. And that gives you almost anxiety. For sure. And it's like, it all builds up. And then you add to it that you have to engage your muscles to draw your weapon. Mm-hmm. And so you have to make movement, but you also have to like use your muscles. That's why some guys, I've seen it where they go draw their bow and they can't draw their bow because you would think the adrenaline would help. It actually helps me. Yeah. But some guys freeze and they can't draw their bow when they're close to an animal. Fascinating. And then you have to, you can't just, your heart's pounding and you're nervous and you can't just stick your gun on a 5,000-pound rock. That rock doesn't shake, right? So that's how, even rifle hunters when they're nervous, okay, put it on the rock. It's not going to shake. Yeah. Right. The bow, you have to hold it while you're shaking and your heart's pounding out of your chest and you have to make a good shot.
And you probably
with a primitive weapon
ran up or down a mountain, across a creek,
too. Yeah.
Through brush.
Yeah. So bow hunting isn't like twice as hard. It's like 20 times as hard.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's where I tell a lot of whitetail clients, what do I need to prepare for the fall? Bam. And I'm like, I want you to draw as heavy as you can because you're whitetail, you're hunting elk, you're going from whitetail to elk. Yeah. We know how that ends. But I'm like, just run around your yard, bent over for 200 yards with a pack on, stand up, draw, and center punch something. I'm like, that's what you need to be practicing because they're so used to,
being calm. Yeah.
They're in a tree stand. Here it comes down the perfect path and they got their rub and the scrape and meh, and you're drawing. And they got everything ranged. And I'm like, everything that that you've been raised on East Coast archery hunting, I go, I don't want to hear anything. I don't care what you've accomplished. You went from JV to varsity out west. And then you get the guy and everything lines up and there it is. And they're dying and then boom, they gut punch something at 30 yards. And you're like, God bless. And they're like, I don't know what happened. That's elk hunting. Archery elk hunting is what happened.
It's just different.
But it's nothing you'll ever forget.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to archery hunt?
Well, I'm obsessed with deer.
Okay.
Like general like mule deer, blacktail, coos deer, whitetail. I love them all just because they're the wariest game animal on the planet. They, you know, I've hunted everything, you know, sheep, goats, caribou, moose, like bears. Nothing is wary like a deer. They notice everything. They have their IQ to stay alive. Their instincts are just another level, and their antlers are tremendously unique and interesting. To me, 6-point bull elk, they bore me. Like, dude, every 6-point looks like a 6-point. Like, elk are fun to hunt because of the rut and the calling and all that. They're very fun. There's nothing more fun. But as far as the appreciation of the trophy, I'm a deer guy. Like, I love deer.
I respect that.
Yeah. But if you want to know, like, my favorite thing to hunt, it's anything in the mountains. Anything where I can put on my backpack and get dropped and go for 10 days with everything I need in my pack. I love that. So sheep, goats, some types of caribou, mule deer, they're hunts like that are my favorite types of hunts.
No shit.
I love it.
How often are you getting to do the stuff like that?
Every year.
Good for you.
Sometimes multiple times a year.
Good for you.
So like this year, I'll be in Alaska here in a month, brown bear hunting, backpack brown bear hunting.
Okay, let's talk brown bear hunting because
20 days, man. I'm gonna be there 20 days.
That's my dream. She says. She goes, Dad, one day when I'm running my own business, I'm buying you a brown bear hunt. And because bears, you obviously saw the skulls down.
There's nothing like a 10-foot brown bear. They're the most incredible animal on earth.
How many browns have you killed?
I've killed one brown, 2 grizzlies, and I've been in on about 10. Like I've been there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Have there been any close calls with those? Because bear hunts, those type of bear hunts turn quick.
There's been close calls.
Like what?
Well, my grizzly, which is an absolute monster mountain grizzly. So just to so you know, and I'm sure you know, but so everybody knows, like a coastal bear is more mellow because they eat fish and they have a high protein diet without having to run down moose and kill them.
Got it.
So a mountain grizzly makes his living killing things that run from them. So they are fighters. Like they know how to tackle something and tear it to pieces and kill it. These coastal bears, they fish. So like, it's not like in their instincts as much in their deep DNA to like run you down and kill you. So a mountain grizzly is, in my opinion, the most dangerous animal in North America without question.
Really?
Yeah, by far, for sure. And so now normally the biggest bears in the world are on the coast because of the high protein diet, the easy protein, right? Somehow we managed to kill the biggest bear that's ever been killed in British Columbia with a bow. This thing is huge. Like Boone and Crockett's mine. So Boone and Crockett's 24 inches. This bear's 26-inch skull. Like he beats Boone and Crockett by 2 inches, and we killed him on the east slope of the Rockies. That's how far away he was from salmon. Like the water doesn't even run that way, right? So this is a mountain grizzly that is a huge, like just a monstrosity, like the king of the mountain. Like biggest bear I've ever seen. Like, I've seen brown bears that are bigger, but that's a different species, right? So anyway, we see this bear with this sow, and he makes her look like a cub. And you want to hear the story, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. This is when I almost died.
This is what we're here. You almost died?
I think so.
Yes, I want to hear this story, bro. Yes, this is wild chaos. I mean, just sit back and
I wouldn't imagine you'd be interested in this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear how you almost died on this giant grizzly hunt. That sounds boring.
Yeah. So we see this bear, and there's actually this valley where we're glassing. There's quite a few grizzlies, like a surprising number of grizzlies, and we figured out why. I'll tell you why, but it was as the story goes. But so we finally see a couple of boars, and then we finally see this monster, and he makes everything else on the mountain look tiny. And the sow literally looks like a cub, but we know it's a sow. We know he's breeding her. So we get on this stalk. We get on him like it's a 2-hour grind. We're completely out of breath. And we finally get up. They're actually on this deactivated logging road, but we cut up through the timber to get there as a shortcut. And we get on this logging road, and we're, I don't know, probably 800 yards from them. And this really nice, like 8-foot grizzly comes out and just stares us down. And he comes at us, and we're having to wave because we want this.
So you're not trying to spook the big bear.
Yeah. We're trying to scare him away without getting eaten, but he is surprisingly aggressive. Like will not leave us alone. Bears are scared of you, right?
Yeah.
This bear would not leave. We're waving at him, like trying to make enough noise where it spooks him without spooking the other one. we finally get rid of him. And so we keep sneaking down this 2-track logging road, and we get to the point where he's going to be. It's a long straightaway, and he's not there. So we're standing there, just standing in the middle of the road. And all of a sudden the sow runs out onto the road in front of us, about 200 yards away. And she looks right at us because we're standing there. We weren't expecting it. We're like, crap. And so we just decide, like, she can see us. So we decide to kneel down in the little ditch right there. And then he follows her up. So he never saw us, but she's freaked out because of us, right? And she's looking the same direction as who? The other bear.
Okay.
So she comes down to check us out. He thinks he's losing her to the other bear. So he comes tearing down the road at us. I come to full draw when he's, I don't know, 50, 60 yards out, and he's coming right at us.
Like, are you talking on a good pace?
At first,
Yeah.
then he slowed to a walk, right?
Okay.
So he's padding along at a walk. She's trying to figure out what's going on. He sees us. He sees her. She actually circled above the road in kind of the brush to like get a look at us. She was 10 yards above us in the brush, which we didn't know at that moment. We saw her after, but I come to full draw and he won't stop. So my business partner, this is an area that I outfitted, right? So it was my company, my business partner, Spike Lewis, at 20s, he starts making this noise, right? To get him to stop, because he just wouldn't stop. And I remember his muzzle's like hanging in front of his vitals and I can't even shoot. And he gets to like 9 yards, actually right around 12, probably. He's like, better do something. Like,
you're 12 yards from this bear?
Well, when I finally release, it's 9. And I'm trying to like aim around his nose to hit him in the front of the chest. And what I saw when my arrow thumped is blood come out of his nose. That's what I saw. I thought, I hit him in the nose. And then he runs by us at,
feet.
I mean,
the width of a road.
2 yards.
Yeah.
6 feet. Yeah. And it's all, I have it on GoPro, actually. I've never published it. I don't know why.
We might need to overlay this onto this. She's over here. We need this footage. I already know.
So anyway, he runs by us at 6 feet and blood is pumping out of his chest. So what actually happened is I saw the blood shoot past his nose. Like on impact, it like set a stream of blood out. And so he runs by us and you could see as the heart pumped, like this stream, it looked like a water hose.
Yep.
And as he, like probably at 8 feet, you could see him look at us because we're moving at this point. I'm getting out of the way of the gun.
Oh, for sure.
Because in my mind, he was going to shoot because I thought I hit him in the nose. So I was literally ducking because I thought he was going to shoot, but he luckily saw it right. And so when that bear ran by, he just followed it with the gun and didn't pull the trigger.
Just let it keep going.
And it went down the road 100 yards and it actually jumped up on the bank. We couldn't see him fall over, but he fell over.
No shit.
And I mean, there was a point where the bear, like as he's coming toward us, he looks at us and as a split second, and then he turned back straight and kept going. Like he thought about, should I kill or run? And I mean, and he's 7 feet away when he's making this decision, and we got a 338 Win Mag on him, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he would put one shot in him.
You would have got one off.
Yeah.
If you're,
yeah. But the impact would have been something, I'll tell you.
So, okay. So people hearing this story, they immediately want to go to the little cuddly animals and everything is friends in nature. I guess we can kind of act or talk about.
Who are these people you're talking about?
The antis.
Okay.
Right? Like the tree huggers of the world, everybody that hates everything that we're doing, because they hear a story like this, but I guess let's talk about the conservation side of it. I want to get into more stories just because since we're jumping into this to kind of lay out, let's get into the conservation because people, one of the biggest things, I'm sure you get it all the time. I don't get as much anymore because I just don't post as much hunting stuff. This is endangered. You're killing endangered animals, and people just don't understand what it actually goes into to get a tag, the money that you're bringing into these communities, into the towns, into the villages, into these remote Alaskan villages, of what hunters are actually doing to provide for wild game. Yeah, because we hear these stories and it's like kill, blood spraying out. Oh my God, you guys are just murderers. What goes into these types of things? Like as far as just the conservation, the money that's being spent, the travel, bringing economy to some of these small villages. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it all.
So let's just back up. And I'm going to make a statement that, it may shock some people, but we'll back it up here. But the statement is that if it weren't for sport hunting, there wouldn't be wild game.
Why?
Because, well, let's just take this grizzly bear as an example. Okay. I mean, it's an easier example to talk about bison or something like that, but let's just take a grizzly bear, because that might be a hard example for some. Well, how would sport hunters preserve grizzlies? Well, this genetic of giant bears on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains, there's actually science in this. There's very few big bears, big grizzlies outside of the salmon areas. But 100 years ago, there used to be a giant bear in Alberta that lived out on the plains.
Okay.
It was a giant plains grizzly bear. And I don't know what he ate, probably bison and things like that.
Everything.
But they were giants. And they were killed. All of them were killed by the ranchers because they were killing cattle and sheep and everything else. So they killed them all. They exterminated them. Hunters didn't exterminate them. Ranchers did. So we're talking the establishment, right? Like we're talking like business.
Yep.
Business for business, we killed away the wildlife. We could go into bison and talk about how commercial meat hunting killed the bison and all of that. But we'll just talk about the grizzly bear. Well, I guess a few survived because all of a sudden in the last couple of decades, these giant genetic grizzly bears are showing up on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
And because of sport hunting, we want that population to be high. So we put tags in place and conservation and all of these things that manage the population. Because if you do let the grizzly bear population get out of control, then you don't have a moose population and a caribou population and a deer population, right? So everything needs to be properly managed. And so now, because of sport hunting, now they're protected. Who's protecting them? The people who want the tags to be able to hunt them. And the money to provide the conservation is coming from those tags, but also there's taxes shared on any outdoor product sold. So they exist today because if it were just for ranchers, they would all be gone. But because of sport hunting, now there's a healthy population.
Yep.
And so you go to any species, I wish I had the exact numbers in front of me, but white-tailed deer, man, I really hate quoting stats that I don't remember exactly, but it was down to something like 25,000 deer in North America.
Oh, no kidding.
Because of meat hunting and commercial operation.
Yep.
And now there's 25 million or something like that. I should have my numbers better. Yeah. But why do we have such a huge population? Because hunters want to hunt them. And when hunters want to hunt something, they put the conservation efforts, the tags, the management, the habitat, the food and water sources, the protection to be able to make sure that species is healthy. If it were just for business, they would all have been killed.
For sure.
They'd have been killed and
which they have been in the past. So that
has happened.
Yes.
Bison were down to like 500 or whatever it was. I mean, these species were literally almost exterminated by meat hunters and even commercial meat hunting. But basically they were seen as like, hey, this is how we're going to either make money or feed our family. And we're going to kill as many as we can so that we can do that. And if it wasn't for a group of gentlemen that got together in the late 1800s, led by Teddy Roosevelt, who eventually became president, who were avid hunters that saw that the wild game of North America was going to become extinct and their children and grandchildren would never be able to hunt. It was their favorite thing to do. So hunters got together to stop the commercial harvesting of this meat and to stop like, hey, just kill whatever you need to eat or whatever. No, find another way to feed your family, not killing our wild game completely into the ground, right? Now, of course, it should be a portion of our diet.
For sure.
But if you want to feed everybody based on deer, well, there won't be any deer, right? So we need to have other ways as well.
Yep.
So this should be a part of it, but not all of it. And so that was the first time the concept of tags and management and managing by science, that was the first time that was ever introduced. And they founded what was called the Boone and Crockett Club. And the Boone and Crockett Club was the first conservation organization that literally saved wildlife in North America.
I feel like I've heard this before, but that's fascinating. I'm sure I've run around with him if I've heard that fact, but I don't remember. Like that's interesting. I didn't know that was the very first one.
Yeah, it was. And it was founded by very powerful individuals, like people that were moving the laws of our country at that time. Teddy Roosevelt became president of the United States, right? And his favorite thing to do was hunting. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted to make sure that this was there forever. So, and then the whole idea of the record book the Boone and Crockett record book, which basically tracks the harvesting of the biggest animals. Like, so they, to have something that qualifies to be entered in the Boone and Crockett record book, it has to be an absolute giant.
Okay.
But the reason for that, it's science-based. They want to know how many absolute giants are being killed. And if the number of those goes down dramatically, they know something's wrong with the management. We're killing too many because we're not getting any entries for this species anymore. So something's wrong. So it's diagnostic. Like, okay, we're not getting any more big mule deer. What's wrong? Okay, mule deer populations must be down. We need to look at this and manage it better. So like, you got to think about this in the late 1800s. Like, how are they can't do aerial surveys.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have, so they have to track it based on results. That's a pretty
primitive way to do it, but it's probably really accurate.
It is accurate. Yeah, and people want to enter the animal because it's really cool to have something entered into that book. So they incentivize like, hey, your name gets put in here. We recognize your trophy, you get immortalized in this book, but they captured the scientific data to make sure the populations, that the herds were healthy.
No shit.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Roosevelt also implement the act that like all ammo, anything camping, outdoor, isn't there a percentage of all taxes sales that go to conservation?
I think that's called the Pittman-Robertson. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's called the Pittman-Robertson. And I don't believe Roosevelt did that, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I should know. I should
probably know too.
But you're right. I mean, a percentage of anything sold that has to do with hunting or fishing, and even broader, more outdoor stuff, goes back to wildlife, goes back to the wild things and wild places of United States and North America.
It's so tough because there's been such a war waged on hunting over since we were children, right? Starting with Bambi. And then you look at every Disney movie, every hunter is this hillbilly and flannel with a shotgun and Elmer Fudd. And so we have this whole entire image from day one as children that everything in the woods and on the mountain is fluffy and everybody lives in harmony. And then now these hunters are bad, but then we'll get attacked, right? Online by these people. Yeah. And my biggest thing back to anti-hunters is, what have you done? What have you done since you hate me so much? You're wishing the most vile shit I've ever had anybody say about my children because we're hunting.
Yeah.
What have you done to help that animal?
Yeah.
And none of them have an answer.
Because I spend literally hundreds or thousands of hours every year, like helping these animals.
Watching.
And like, I guarantee you, I love deer 1,000 times more than an anti-hunter. I spend 100%. More time thinking about them, studying them, appreciating them. And you know what? I will say in defense of trophy hunting, I kill way less than the average hunter. I normally don't kill.
I've never looked at it like that.
I normally don't kill because I'm so picky in finding the right thing. I'm not a bloodthirsty guy. I don't need to kill. I mean, there are people out there like, I better kill something because like, I don't want to go home and tell people I didn't kill anything. It's almost like an ego thing to kill. I don't need to kill anything. Like I want to kill the animal that I want to kill. I want them to be huge and that's it. And so because of that, like I'm contributing to that conservation effort. I'm letting things get bigger. I'm letting the herds be healthy. I want them to grow up and be big so that, you know, when it's time, I'm going to shoot the oldest, most mature buck on the mountain.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I want to have this conversation to kind of just open people's point of view up that, okay, even the non-trophy hunters, just hunters in general, of how much, and I talk big lesson with my kids and I try to educate people on, you know, because bears are our thing. I obsess over bears. And so we put so much into these bears. Yeah. Watching, studying, habits, rhythms or patterns. And okay, they're hitting at this time. Okay, that he's moving through this on this face at this time during the day. So you know, and I would argue with these people. I go, I guarantee you my kids, my daughters that you're calling and wishing horrible things on, know more about that animal and its habitat, its food, its routines, everything about this animal that's living wild and free on a mountain, know more about it than you that are here cursing and saying the most ratchet, rank things you've ever heard in your life.
That's right.
Tell me one fun fact about a bear. And they can't tell you anything unless they're going to Google or chat GPT it. But you ask them one of my daughters and they can list off 100 things about a black bear because they've lived on these mountains.
And appreciate the species.
Yes.
And they've become experts at that species. People can't understand it.
It's so hard to convince somebody that's not into hunting that we love these animals.
Well, and the response you get is, but you want to kill it. Okay. I don't want to kill them all. I want to kill one occasionally. And I want to use the meat and I want to use the hide and I want to use all of these things. And I want to enjoy the experience of being in nature, getting to know this species, and occasionally kill one and use it for my family. And yes, I want to kill the biggest one out there.
Yep.
And why not? I mean, it's going to be it's the healthiest thing to do is to kill the biggest, oldest one.
And so that's okay. So that's a good tie in because trophy hunters, my mind immediately goes to Africa, right?
Okay.
You got a dude standing on a lion and, they're holding up some leopard and, you see those. So that's where I feel a lot of other people's mind might go to it. But like, when I think of trophy hunter, I'm not thinking about the guy that's been sitting on this 200-inch mule deer for 40 days all summer,
right,
watching it with his buddies, rotating, make sure it doesn't get out of this area for that season to open up. Like I immediately want to go to this stigma of, the old round boonie cover and you got a double barrel over your shotgun and your head's, foot on a lion's head. That's where it goes. But I'm trying to paint this picture that's not real trophy hunting to me.
I mean, I like the North American model. So the North American model is, and this was the revolutionary idea that Teddy Roosevelt and these other gentlemen came up with. And that is that the wildlife of the United States of America belongs to its citizens.
Mm-hmm.
That was the key. And it's our stewardship to take care of it, to manage and make sure it's healthy. That was the groundbreaking. It doesn't belong to the landowner.
Nope.
It belongs to the citizens of this country. And so with that idea, we have everybody contributing to make sure that, the tags are appropriately issued, that the laws, that there's fair chase. That's another thing, that we don't shoot things at night and we don't like run them down with cars and we don't whatever. I mean, there's a variety of ways you could take something unethically, but we don't do that. So we use fair chase. We make sure the populations are healthy. And when the time is right and you have a tag and there is enough of them to shoot, we're able to shoot one of them. Mm-hmm. And that's different from Africa or anywhere else. In Africa, most of the stuff is in high fences and they're breeding them just to kill them. And that's not, it's different. Okay. Whatever. I'm not saying, we're not going to debate that. Yeah. We're talking right now is the North American model, that these things live on public land and private land. But even the ones that live on private land belong to the people of this country. And that it's our stewardship to take care of them. And when the populations are right, then we can shoot one of them and then use it for the purposes of feeding our family or using their hide or whatever it is we want to use it for.
Where do you think it all turned? I mean,
I don't think it has. I think that if you survey people in this country, 90% of them think it's okay to shoot something and eat it. I mean, I don't know, like, you're going to be a target because you have a couple of pretty daughters and they're out shooting stuff. And that's going to you're like almost rage baiting the public by posting a picture of
for sure.
You know what I mean? So
sure.
You're going to draw those out. I don't think that the public is against hunting. Now, trophy hunting, it doesn't survey quite as well.
Yeah.
And I do think that that's too bad because they don't understand that trophy hunting is what keeps our populations really healthy. Because there are states that manage for meat hunting, and there are states that manage for trophy hunting, and the herds are just better in where they're managing for trophy hunting. Like you get more mature animals, you get the older age class buck doing the breeding, and not like a 2-year-old that hasn't proven its genetics doing the breeding because everything gets killed at 3 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a huge thing that you see all the time is, especially the influencer route, you get all the YouTube hunting channels and you see them going out there and they're shooting little fork and horns for their grip and grin on their, that's the problem that I have in the hunting industry is the guys that are creating content on just killing anything just to be relevant.
Or my favorite is when they kill a 3-year-old and they're like, look at this old toad. This is like, they're like, are you kidding me, dude? And they're like throwing out scores like they know what it scores. And they're just,
See, and so that's a riff in the hunting industry, right?
Yeah.
That people really don't really dive into is it's almost divided in a way where you have your class of guys that are, I'm an age over anything.
Yeah.
I would shoot a smaller ancient deer over a younger, cool looking buck. Age to me, because you get the palmated blade, you can start getting character with age. That's how my mind works.
It's the biggest challenge too. I mean, that's the smartest critter on the mountain.
And yeah, 100%, because it has 5, 6, 7 winners of living out there.
That's right. And it's proven that whatever it's doing is right because it hasn't been killed yet. So it has
100%.
whatever his routine is a good routine.
Exactly. And then you have, well, you can't eat the horn side of things.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? Like, that's how I grew up. I actually had to teach myself everything on big game hunting. My dad was a huge waterfowl guy. So everything big game, I pretty much had to self-taught. And so then you get into it, and then you start finding these divides inside the industry, because then everyone's like, well, let them grow, let them go, let them grow. And then you have the other half of just burn it. If it's brown, it's down. And then you start seeing how some of these states manage things, and you go to these units, you're like, bro, there's nothing. Like, you're grinding out, probably not you. You got it dialed as far as hunts and what is, but
yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like I said, I usually come home with nothing. I mean, that's the secret. What's the secret to killing big animals? Well, go a lot and don't shoot the little ones. It's not rocket science. But so I'm actually, I'm starting a podcast soon here that's going to be trophy hunting based. And the reason I'm starting it, Bam, is because it doesn't exist. Nobody wants to even talk about it. They don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They want to talk about the experience and the meat and all this stuff. And you know what? Most of the guys who are doing that are actually trophy hunters. They're just afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, because of the stigma that comes with it.
And yeah, that's right. And I'm not afraid to talk. I think it's an amazing thing that helps the herds, and we have to give credit where credit's due, is trophy hunters that saved wild game in North America, flat out. The other thing too is we run into a lot is people who talk bad about trophy hunting are usually bad hunters. I mean, look.
It's called a spade.
If the shoe fits, man.
Yeah, I mean,
they usually suck.
Yeah.
Of course you're against trophy hunting because it takes tremendous skill and patience to kill a giant animal. Tremendous. And you may hate trophy hunting, but you're proving that you're a bloodthirsty and you just want to go out and kill something. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what's better? Somebody who's so bloodthirsty they can't leave the mountain without shooting something, or somebody like me, who I hunt 2 to 3 months a year and maybe kill 1 to 2 animals a year.
And how many are you passing?
Thousands.
See?
Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been Dall sheep hunting now 98 days between 9 different Dall sheep hunts. I've passed over 30 legal rams, and I've never even made a stalk.
What?
I've never even made a stalk.
What's stopping you? It's just not the right
I'm
one.
Looking for a giant.
Do you go off of feel, or you go off of inches, or both?
I go off inches. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so, I want a 42-inch ram with 13.5 to 14-inch bases. And I mean, that's a world-class Dall sheep. And there's only 4 a year killed in the world that have those dimensions. And I'm trying to kill one with a bow. So I'm basically hunting a unicorn, right?
No shit.
And you know what? I love every minute of it. People are like, oh, it sucks that your Dall sheep hunt was a failure. I'm like, do you mean the one I'm still on? Because it's still the same hunt. I'm just 98 days deep, spread out over 15 years.
Have you seen what I've seen on this mountain?
Yeah, I've had the best time up chasing Dall sheep. And you know what? The guys who hate trophy hunting, they would have just blasted the first one they saw. And so
good for you for having that. I don't even know
insanity. You call it like clinical insanity.
Borderline for sure. 100 days in the field chasing a sheep. That's insane to me.
I have a similar number of days chasing Alaskan barren ground caribou. That's a really hard one to break what I want to break, which is the Boone and Crockett minimum. So what I'm after to get in the Boone and Crockett all-time book, there's a certain score, which is like the compilation of inches according to certain formulas.
Okay.
So like in barren ground caribou, it's a 400-inch caribou. And I've now killed 2, one that was 386 and one that was 375, that were dang big bulls, but they didn't quite make that 400. On the Dall sheep, I've never seen one that I believed was over 170, which is the minimum. And so why would I? You know what? If I could have killed several Dall sheep, okay, with my bow. It wouldn't fix my problem. It wouldn't, I don't want to call it a problem, but it wouldn't satisfy what I want. So why am I going to kill it? I see no reason to kill something.
That. I respect that.
Like, I'm going to feel just as hungry to go back and find my giant 170 ram if I kill like a 150 ram for fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be very entertaining to make an awesome stock and bow kill a doll sheep. That would be really cool, but it doesn't fill me. So I'm just going to wait until I find that one. Okay.
So honest question. Let's say you found your sheep. You got your phone scoping it. You're sending it to buddies. What do you think this is going to score? I'm sure this is a law. I'm sure I'm just painting the picture of this is what goes into what.
That's right.
You're sending it to everybody. What do you score it for me? Score it for me. Probably send it to this dude. What do you think it's going to go? Let's say they say it's going to break that number, and you get in, God willing, everything lines up. You put an arrow through it, and it's an inch short. That
happens all the time.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. No.
Okay.
I mean, so in my quest, like. Probably half the animals I kill that I think will go book, which is what we call Boone and Crockett.
Okay.
Don't.
No kidding.
And that's okay.
Are you okay? You want to know what okay with that?
You want to know what the good news is?
You get to do it again.
I get to do it again. But I'm genuinely only going to shoot it if I think there's a pretty dang good chance. Like if I think it's 50-50, he'll go book, I'm shooting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you can't know.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's going to, there's certain animals, occasionally you know.
Yeah,
occasionally like, okay, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Occasionally, but most of the time you don't know. You just have to like, okay, I'm 50-50 here, and I'm honestly 50-50. And I've also done it where I like talk myself into being 50-50, but I'm really not. I just want to like have some fun. I'm guilty, right?
But a little closer.
Yeah, it depends on the animal. Like whitetail hunting, I go whitetail hunting every year, and I try to kill a nice buck every year. And I know they're not book.
Yep.
That's fine. Like I really enjoy it. I use the meat. I go with my daughter. We have a fantastic time.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm like that with everything, but there are multiple hunts I go on every year where it's Boone and Crockett or nothing.
Interesting.
And another thing I never do is I never pull out my tape measure until like way after.
Oh,
I enjoy the moment.
Okay.
And I respect the animal, and I respect the people that, if I'm with a guide, I'm not going to like, let's see what he scores. That would cheapen the experience tremendously. I have zero interest in that.
It kills
like if I'm going to decide to kill something, that's my animal. And like, I am so happy and grateful to have been part of that, no matter what the tape says.
Good.
100% of the time. And then whatever, hours later, the next day, I'll pull out a tape, see what he scores. And if he's in, great. If not, I get to come back.
Have you ever spent hours and hours and hours stalking in on something, you get within bow range, and then you find out and you're just like, no, this isn't it?
I've had that happen. I remember once a big caribou I stalked, and now granted, we were also like, 2 full days in backpacking. So like,
2 days of hiking just to get there.
Yeah. And taking out a
caribou.
It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So, but I got in, I'm like, this bull isn't what I thought he was. And I backed out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How's that feel though? I mean, are you happy with that decision, or is there more frustrated? I mean, do you get discouraged on some of these moments?
I honestly don't, man. I enjoy the process. I freaking love it. The outfitters, they're the ones that are mind blown by it. They're like, I've never seen somebody do something like this. People are usually so like, they just want to blast, They're like this. I have this one guy, we're looking over these caribou, and like, they're big. They're like 380 bulls. And I'm like, and we're adding them up, and I'm adding them up on my paper. I'm like, I think they're both 380. And he's like, okay. I'm like, let's keep looking. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. He's like, this is amazing. I love you. This is awesome. You don't want to just blast or, kill that bull. I'm like, no, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing wrong. There's like, if I wanted to shoot it, fine. I'm saying I'm like, morally opposed to killing something but this is my goal.
Yep.
And this is what I want to do. And this is part of the experience. Part of the experience is seeing giant animals that are almost there and choosing to just enjoy that.
Yeah.
And take some pictures. And like people say, but you go on these hunts, you don't have anything to post or whatever. I'm like, first of all, I don't freaking hunt for social media. That's like an atrocity to even think about.
It's disgusting.
But if I did, how much cooler is it to post pictures of something that I let go that you would have like died to kill? Right? I mean, if it really was something I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was telling him, I had a client once and he was a 200 or nothing guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which every person's a 200 or nothing when they come out.
And of course, to the audience, we're talking about mule deer here.
Mule deer, sorry. Yeah. You know, and you get the occasional guy, you know, I always ask, hey, what do you, especially when they're not Eastern or Western guys, okay, what are we looking for? 200 inch. I'm like, well, how many 200 inch, what's your biggest mule deer?
They don't even know what that means.
They don't.
They have no idea.
They don't. That's just the number for mule deer. And so I'll always, what are we looking for? Like, 200 inch. I'm like, so what's your biggest muley on the wall? They're like, well, I haven't killed one yet. I'm like, okay, wait till you see like a solid $180 typical. You're going to shit your pants over it. And so, but this guy, I won't throw names out, but he's a big mule deer guy. He spends a couple $100,000 a year on mule deer. Anyways, I find this one, we crawl our asses off. I'm glassing it. And I'm like, it's going to be right around 200. And we get all the way in and it's an archery hunt. We get there and I'm just glass on it and I'm just burning this thing. I'm adding, and I'm putting it at like 198 to 200. It's not going to break, in my mind, it's not going to break 200. And so we're talking, we're whispering. He's like, can you guarantee me?
Oh my gosh,
it's going to break 200. I go, I can't. Like, I'm not putting that on me. I'm like, but it's right there. Dude stands up. Nope, not what I'm looking for. Blows that deer out of there. Just runs for 5 miles. But yeah, that's just who he was, though. If you could not guarantee 100% guarantee that it's going to break in, we ended up killing it. It was a few weeks later, a couple seasons after, and it was right on the money. I was right within an inch of it.
Yeah,
but it was one of those deals where I was like, holy shit. You know who's I know who you know, Bob Fram. Bob Fram.
Yeah.
So,
Bob's a good dude.
You want
runs a great archery shop down in San Diego. Yeah,
I've never met anybody like him before as a client. I'll never forget, out in Colorado, and we find a stud. I think this one was.
Yeah, Bob used to do a lot of Eastern Colorado hunts.
Yeah, and that's where we met.
Nice.
And so I'm out there with him, and we find this hammer. It's well over 200. It's just working this. It's an old farm, actually. Yeah. It's all run down. You get all the panels up for the cattle used to go in, but it's just roaming. It's rutting inside of there.
That's perfect for stalking.
Most beautiful stock ever. You know what this dude does? He pulls his target out. I'm watching the buck from and he wanted to get some reps in. I'm like, we got to go, bro. We got to kill this deer. He's like, he's the most calm, collective. What a master. That dude I just watched him for that week, and I learned so much because I'm always, let's go. We got to get ahead of it. Yeah. You know, I just get so worked. And he was just like, if it's there, it's there. I just got to get my reps in. And man, that dude is a sniper. I mean, and to finish that story, gets in, here it comes, walking right down, draws, we're behind watching, walk right by. I just didn't feel comfortable with the shot.
No way.
I'm like, like blink, blink, blink. Like I would have been zipping arrows in every direction to try to kill that thing. But yeah, just somebody of that caliber of professionalism to be able to stay that calm. You got a world-class deer walking well within range, not like this is a long shot, and just be able to be like, yeah, I'm good with it. And then, but to each their own. I'll take a guy out and he sees a 160-inch deer and he's diving out of the truck trying to kill it. And you're like, all right.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I want to make clear is like everybody has their own way of doing it. And I have like, as long as you're respectful and you're obeying the laws, that's your right. Yep. And I have, like that story I told about my first deer, like I would never look at that deer twice today. Yeah. But so I don't mean to be a snob. Like that meant so much to me to kill that 140-inch buck. Like that was incredible to me. And so like, if that's where somebody is and maybe they stay at that place their whole life, and that's completely fine. We need people out hunting.
For sure.
That's what we need.
For sure.
Like if people need to be out hunting, that's the most important thing. You need to be out enjoying the outdoors, ethically killing things with fair chase and using the meat. And that's what we need. But I enjoy trophy hunting. So I want to talk about trophy hunting. Yeah. So and people who enjoy it might like hearing about it. Right.
And I think a great thing, because I'm one of those, the trophy is in the eye of the beholder, right?
True.
I mean, look at how many little kids shoot a little spike or fork or horn, and it's the greatest moment of their life.
Amazing.
Something that I've always taught my kids as they grow and get a little bit older. Hey, now that you've gotten to this age, you got some animals under your belt, equal or above. So every year, especially with bears, what do you do with I got behind this bar, dude, there's a stack of bear hides. $400 a tan of bear, $200 for the skull, and I'm just adding things. I'm like, we keep shooting all these damn bears.
Yeah.
So, but for us as a family, and I tell a lot of guys this, I'm like, okay, I'm not saying you're going to go out and need to burn every spike you see, but I'm equal from the year prior or bigger. And that's what we do as a family.
Yeah.
So she got to the point, she shot several bears, and then she came to me the last year, shot her big mature bear. She was like, Dad, I really want a big mature bear this year. I'm like, well, you're going to pass a lot of bears. I just want you to know this. She's like, I'm cool with that. I'm like, you're sure?
Yeah.
She ended up passing 20 bears that season. Several of them were decent. And she'd always ask, Dad, how do you know? How do you know it's the one? I go, you'll know.
Yeah.
And we were sitting.
That's how you describe a bear.
You'll know.
Like with deer, you can like, well, if their ears this long, and that equals whatever inches, and then you look for this.
Yep.
With a bear, you just know.
You just know. Yeah. And so that whole season, and bears would walk out. She'd look back at me. What do you think? I'd be like, how do you feel? She's like, Dad, just tell me to shoot it. I'm like, this is yours.
She turns, she says, can you guarantee me that's a 7-foot bear?
Yeah, exactly. You just had a mature boar. And so finally, or toward the end of the season, this bear just strolling. We just caught him roaming, and it was right in the rut. I actually mouth called it and started squeaking because it was not stopping. It stopped, turned, came back around, did a big loop. Yeah. She's watching the whole, but when it stepped out, she did one of these like, and I looked at her and I went, like, that's the one. And I'm like, equal or above. But now that just raised her bar. So now that's the new level. Our lowest we're going to go is your last bear. So we're either, if you're cool with that, or bigger. Because I caught myself, I got tied up in the whole social media influence shit in the earlier days of hunting when I don't even know how I got pulled in it. Yeah. I've hunted my whole entire life. If social media is here or not, the marshals we're going to be stacking bodies every year. But I get pulled into it. And then where I learned a lesson, actually, I was working with a big gun company, and I felt that pressure to have to produce. Yeah. And I caught myself, and I shot this antelope, and I walk up on it, and the first thing that went through my head, I go, why the fuck did I shoot this thing?
Yeah.
And
that's the worst feeling.
And it was, and it hit me, and I go, I just wasted this animal.
Yeah.
And that's when it registered with me. And I was like, I just killed this animal just to post a grip and grin so I could stay relevant with this company. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. And that was my aha moment I guess my come to Jesus moment as an outdoorsman, where it didn't bring me any excitement. I'm not saying that I'd rather shoot a doe. Shooting a doe would have done the exact same thing to me, because we love antelope. Antelope's in my top 5 meats that we will absolutely destroy in this house. I'm like, I would have just got the same thing from this, but I could have let this animal grow.
You could have let that buck grow up. I think that story was amazing, by the way. And that describes like why I'm not going to shoot 155-inch doll sheep. I've spent all this money. I could like, whatever. I have, films I could make. I could get a lot of content and all that, but that's not why I want to shoot something.
It's 100% a feeling that it's hard to explain when I don't want to say make the mistake, but when you get to that point in your hunting life, which could come right away, it could come never, right?
Yeah.
I know old timers that are burning every buck, no matter the size, and
that's fine.
And they get so much joy over it.
Yeah.
But when you get to that point where you walk up on it, you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. That's when I really took a step back. I'm like, okay, I've gotten to this point. Not that I've killed anything remotely giant, that I have thousands of animals under my belt, but I got to this point where I'm like, man, I watched her shoot something for the first time, and I completely came unglued. And I'm like, unless it's going to be a 400-inch bull or some 200-inch deer that I'm shitting my pants over, I get more of a rush, more excitement, more joy of watching my kids out there doing it, even if they're just with me. Yep. That brought me, and that's where I really started shifting my mindset to, dude, I don't like, I'll go out and some people are like, dude, there's a 170 buck. I'm like, all right, dude, shoot it. And they're like, you don't want it? I'm like, for what? Yeah. And I'm not, and this is not coming from on a pedestal that I have stacks of 200-inch here. No, this is just, I know somebody else is going to get more joy out of that than me posting a grip and grin that's going to get a couple of likes for a few days. And then what's the point of it? Then
you want to be excited about it.
100%.
And I think that makes sense. And I think that, I don't mind if, people like I said, do what you want to do what makes you happy.
For sure.
But I don't mind if people feel a little bit of pressure to let things grow up a little bit. Like you look at Alaska, for example. There are Alaska residents, and if I piss people off, so be it. But there's guys who have to kill a Dall sheep every year. And it's an ego thing, and they're killing 8-year-olds. They're killing sheep that are barely legal. And I'm not saying like if it's your first sheep or whatever and you've worked your butt off and whatever, fine, kill a legal 8-year-old. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't need to kill an 8-year-old every year.
No.
If you really think you need to kill a Dall sheep every year, because the Dall sheep hunting in Alaska is rough right now. The populations are low.
Yeah. Been like that for a while.
It has. And the winters have not been friendly. And the guys who got to kill their sheep every year are not good for things. And, if you need to kill a sheep every year, get in and age it and kill them if they're 10 or 12. Then kill your sheep every year. Don't kill a barely legal 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, that's not helping anything. We got to let things grow up.
And it's so weird hearing a hunter, an avid hunter, say that, because we get like this whole conversation where everyone you guys just want murderers, you guys just out for blood, but here you are.
Somebody listening closely who felt that way would hear something here, that we care.
For sure.
We care about the health of the species. It's like it was these trophy hunters who saved wildlife back at the turn of the into the 1900s. And it's trophy hunters again today that want to keep it healthy.
Always.
We're the ones that are like, we've got to pull back. We got to have the right number of tags. We need to keep the quality up. And what that does, it keeps the health of the herds up.
For sure. And without that, then we start looking in, then we start depending on the science and the biologists that are now dictating how these animal herds are, which terrifies me, because this is, okay, so I guess a question that I just thought of this is, how do you feel that our states are managing animals? Obviously, every state's different.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. Well, I guess we'll take Utah, since that's where you know a lot of. How do you I guess to tie into this, I personally feel that our states are destroying the hunting on purpose by blowing out some of these areas, not putting sizes on, spike units, and they're just destroying and shooting these out. We've watched such a decline in mule deer, whitetail numbers over in several states. Look at Oregon, Idaho's big. I mean, Utah, they want to blame everything on mountain lions and everything on wolves.
Yeah.
How do you take the science that the scientists are providing versus what the hunting outdoorsman can provide? I mean, do you think that is a fair way that they're judging our animal herds and numbers?
So you have two different schools of thought. You have states that want to manage for opportunity, and states that want to manage for trophy quality. And so I guess that's where things get mixed up, is you have to look at the underlying value system that's, being used. And science can be obviously tweaked. Like I read a book once, How to Lie with Statistics, right? I mean, you can say, and you can have numbers say anything with very small tweaks, right?
For sure.
I'll tell you a story that kind of demonstrates the disparity. So I was sitting and this was a long time ago. I mean, this was 15 years ago. I was sitting at the Wild Sheep Foundation banquet, and I watched the Arizona. It was the Arizona mule deer tag, the governor's tag. So you can hunt any mule deer in the state of Arizona for like a 4 or 5 month season. Maybe it's even a year season. I can't remember. But it went for $500,000. Okay. Now some of these tags have actually gone for $1 million. So this was like 15 years ago. So a deer tag went for $500,000. The very next tag up after the Arizona governor's tag was the Montana governor's tag. It went for $12,500.
What's the just management wise of trophy?
Like Montana runs the rifle hunt through the rut for mule deer. Every year, it's like a 6-week rifle season that goes right through the rut. They're not going to have big mule deer.
Yeah.
They're managing for opportunity, though. They're managing. The only place you could ever find a big mule deer in Montana probably is private land. And then, so what does the governor's tag even do you? Nothing. You got to pay. You got to pay this private land anyway, right?
You're paying a trophy
but
fee.
In Arizona, they're managing for trophy quality in most areas, and they have generally good management and giant animals. You look at Arizona, Nevada, Utah, like these places have giant animals. Now, I do think, though, you can't manage every unit for trophy quality, although
For sure.
selfishly, I would love that. You do need to have opportunities so that people can hunt. Unfortunately, mule deer and elk aren't like whitetail. Like, they don't breed as easily. They're not as hardy. Like the populations like whitetail, you can't get rid of them if you try. I mean, people like
coyotes.
Yeah. I mean, people are like trying to there's too many of these things. We're hitting them with our cars. Like, how can they've tried contraception. They've tried all this stuff, right? So mule deer and whitetail are sensitive. So it's hard. Like I have to take my kids to whitetail states to hunt every year.
Mm-hmm.
They can't hunt every year in Utah generally, or if I lived in Arizona or whatever. So we do need to have some units where we sort of maximize opportunities so we can get our kids hunting. That is one important thing. So you can't have every unit be a trophy unit, but there should be a mix of opportunity hunt zones that are managed for that and a mix of units that are managed for trophy quality. That's my opinion.
That makes sense. I mean, but obviously, like you're saying, we have to have the meat hunts for people that are providing. I know a lot of guys that come up here and just for cow elk.
Yeah.
And that's all they look forward to every year, which is great. And so one animal, what's the number one animal on your list?
Well, I mean,
if you can close your eyes right now, what's the first thing that you can chase?
I mean, the doll sheep thing.
It's got you.
It's got me bad. But like right now, I'm kind of keen on this brown bear. Like a 10-foot brown bear. I haven't killed a 10-foot brown bear. I've seen one die. And
you're going for 20 days?
Yeah.
That's a grind.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I get there I fly in May 6th, and the season actually goes through May 31st.
You're going to stay the whole time?
So, I'll stay until I kill, or I don't kill. But I mean, I could be there, I guess, was that 25 days?
Yeah.
I could be there 25 days.
No shit.
And it's backpacking, man.
The whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll probably drop some food out of the cub for us if we run out, but like we're backpacking for brown bear on the Alaska Peninsula. It is going to be gnarly.
How do you train for that?
I don't.
You're just raw dogging it. You're just going for it.
I train jujitsu 6 days a week.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't. Yeah, people say, "How do you get ready for hunting season?" I'm like, I'm always ready for hunting season.
Valid.
I can leave on a 30-day backpack hunt tomorrow, and I don't mean to be arrogant, but I'll out hike anybody. At 50 years old, I have no problem moving around the mountains.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Why? Just because is it a lot of it because you've never stopped?
I mean, I've never stopped. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I eat good food. I work out like crazy. I'm just healthy.
Yeah, because you do not look 50.
Good genetics, I guess. I don't know.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I put the right things in my body and I get good things out. Yeah.
How many pairs of socks are you bringing for that trip?
That's the most random question.
Is it?
Two, because I can wash one.
Was that a random question?
Yeah. I mean,
that's the shit that my mind's thinking of. I'm like, how many pairs of socks do I need to pack?
I'm like, of all the things you could ask me, like, of everything your listeners want to know,
that's what I want to know.
How many pairs of socks?
That's what I want to know.
I take. So here's my rule in backpacking: if I think I might need it, I leave it at home.
Oh, it's 100% guarantee.
I have to need it to make it into my pack. You have to have that mentality or your pack gets too heavy. So I count every ounce. I take 2 pairs of socks. One's on my feet. The other's in my pack. And when the one gets dirty, I put the other pair on and wash the pair that was in my pack. And then it goes in the rotation. And I take 2 pairs of underwear. Same thing.
Oh,
I can wash one and wear one.
Have you ever been caught in a situation where you needed something really bad that you should have brought?
I mean, you just make it work. Yeah. You can just, like, as long as you have food, like, you need, sometimes I've found myself rationing food down to like 900 calories a day because things like go longer than I thought and I start readjusting or whatever. But normally I try to take 2,500 calories a day, which isn't enough. So you lose weight when you're hunting.
Oh, for sure.
When you're backpacking because of all the calorie output. But
for sure.
You need good rain gear. You need a good tent. You need a good sleeping bag. And you need good boots.
Are you running KUIU?
And you need
on
a
everything?
good backpack. Yes. I run almost all KUIU. Yeah. You need those 5 things, and everything else is like luxury, you know? I mean, you need your weapon. I mean, there's things you have to have. I always think of clothing. Okay. What's the coldest it could get? I do that calculation. Let's say I think the coldest it could get is like around freezing. Okay. Well, if I put on everything in my pack, would I be somewhat comfortable if it gets as cold as it gets? If the answer is yes, that's the amount of gear I need to bring. I would never bring gear where I couldn't put on everything on. If I put everything on at once, I'd have too much. Well, then why would I carry it?
That's a great point.
Right. Now, what if something gets wet? Okay, well, you're probably going to be a little cold. Better get it dry. Now you're going to say, how do you get it dry? You put it on in your sleeping bag and it gets dry.
Have you done that?
Absolutely.
How
every
miserable
time I get wet, I get in my sleeping bag, put on my wet clothes, and go to sleep, and I wake up when they're dry. And it's not fun, But if you leave them in a heap on the floor, they're not going to dry. So your body heat will dry stuff. I remember I was on this hunt in Alaska with this stud guide, like really good, like tough dude. And we're sharing a tent, and this was several days, like 5 days in, it had been raining and nasty and all this stuff. And I wasn't really thinking about it, I was just doing my thing. And he says to me, gosh, I hate this, man. Everything I own is wet. What, dude? I literally don't have one wet piece of gear. He's like, what? How's all your gear dry? I'm like, everything I own is dry. He's like, everything I own is wet. Like, well, yeah, because as things get wet, I dry them out. I put them on, wear them. He put them in a freaking plastic bag then put it on something new and get it wet, and it goes in the plastic bag, and he, now has accumulated like a bunch of wet clothes. You got to stay on top of it.
No shit. Yeah. I bet you have so many little things like that you have learned from 100 days of just doll sheep hunting alone that you probably don't even, it's probably like
I've probably spent 100 days goat hunting and 100 days mule deer hunting, all backpack. I live every year, between 2 and 4 weeks out of my backpack every year for the last 25 years.
What an accomplishment.
It's fun, man. I love backpacking. It is true hunting, because like, dang good and well as an Idaho hunter, if you can have roads and a truck, your odds of finding a big buck are way bigger because you're going to use that vehicle. Boom. We're getting a glassing point. Okay. We're going to glass here for 2 hours. Next point. Boom. And you're driving 10 miles to the next point. And when you have a backpack on and you're like, man, I sure would love to be on that mountain over there to glass. It's 3 days away. It's like, you have no advantage. Like, you are like, it is an equal playing field. And then you throw in the bow, and then you throw in that you're trying to kill something Boone and Crockett. And now you have your odds are like 1 in a million.
Yeah. You have to be, for you and the caliber of hunting that you're doing, you have to be borderline psychotic to, or just be a glutton for misery and disappointment.
People overplay things a lot. Like, people try to make things sound bigger than they are. I see that a lot on social media. There's some really good storytellers out there. And I appreciate them because they bring people to sport. They make it look cool. But when I look at what they're doing, they're backpacking, whatever, but they're killing like a half mature animal. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they're using a rifle, whatever. Like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, that's not hard. What you're doing there, and you're telling this story and you're making it look really cool and really rugged and really awesome. But I know the truth. What you're doing is not hard. But when you like literally are going after something Boone and Crockett with a backpack and your bow, like, you're talking like, there are more 7-foot tall human beings than there are people who have killed something Boone and Crockett.
No shit.
One. And I've now killed 10 species, Boone and Crockett with my bow, all time. And I know what it takes. Every one of those I bled for. I averaged like tremendous numbers of days, like my Sitka blacktail. So I did that hunt over 3 years, all self-guided. I get dropped in Alaska with my backpack with my son, who was 16 when we started. And we would hike into the mountains of Southeast Alaska, where it rains 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And we would go, 12 to 14 days every year. And we did that 3 years in a row. And every hunt, I passed over 150 different bucks. And I killed the biggest buck we saw each year. My son killed a great buck too. And then finally that last year we killed a Boone and Crockett buck. And the thing is, like, the things I saw and the things I was able to do because I wouldn't shoot all the other bucks I saw. Like, I experienced 10 times of what everybody else could experience. And we finally got it done. But man, I'm telling you, it was so freaking hard. It was hard. But you look back on it and you just remember, like, when you do something, you look back at, like, if you ran a marathon or whatever, you think that was so awesome. You don't remember how miserable it was. Or somehow our brain turns that misery into like something you're proud of. And it's like amazing, But I will say that trophy hunting, like, so one time I was brown bear hunting on Kodiak, and we were after a giant bear, and we saw a few really good bears, like really nice, like 9.5 pushing 10 foot. Like, they might've been booked, but we passed them. Right. And then we saw like a mega bear. And this was like on day 10, we see this, like this thing is 10.5 feet. He's probably got a 29-inch to 30-inch skull. Like, he's the guy, the outfitter, I mean, he is a bear guide. Like he's done it his entire life. He said he sees a bear like this every 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
One. Like he sees one every 3 or 4 years, right? So we put on this stock and you know, the bear's moving and we put a guy up on the hill trying to signal and we're trying to intercept him and the guide peeks over. He just peeked over at the wrong moment. The bear happened to be staring right at him. So we got a little bit unlucky. The bear buggers off and he walks across this hillside and we just see him. He's freaking massive. Like every step he takes, he just looks like a truck.
Yeah.
And there's a few guides there. Anyway, one of them was pretty bummed out and he's a little bit pissy, like bummed out. And I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know, man. It's just with a rifle hunter, we would have killed that bear. And I said, no, you wouldn't have. He's like, what do you mean? He was walking at 70 yards.
And killed one 5 days ago.
I said, yeah, that's right. You would have killed the 9.5 footer on day 2. And you would have killed the 9.5 footer on day 5. And you would have killed the 9.5 footer on day 7. You would have never seen this bear if you were hunting with me. So that's the thing about trophy hunting, man. You get to see more, you get to experience more, you get to really learn the species. You need to know how to judge them. You know, I'm never going to look at a guy and say, can you guarantee me that's 200? Because I better know how to tell he's 200, right? Because I'm going to hunt that species enough to become an expert on that species. You know, the whole thing of, I'm going off here. Sorry. I'm like,
that's wild chaos, bro. Go wherever you want. We got no scripts here.
I'm just like venting on stuff. But the whole thing with like the North American 29, right? Like there's 29 species of big game animals in North America. There's actually a couple more, but generally it's called the North American 29. Like people are on this quest to go kill all 29 species in North America. And it's amazing because you get to go to all these, you get to go polar bear hunting with the Inuits, like amazing things. Like you get to see all of North America while you're chasing these 29 animals. And it's awesome. So nothing against anybody who's on that quest. But when I do it, what I'm doing, I have to go back for that same species like 10 times.
For that one.
Because I want to kill a Boone and Crockett. So I get it truly. It's not like I just get to go there once and shoot something and say, I got that one, right? Because most of these guys will kill it in one trip. Even with a bow, it's not that hard to kill something. Like like if you're a decent bow hunter, you're going to go kill something.
And most guys are just going to put it on the ground just because, I mean, they want to check
They want to check that off.
Yeah.
And I'm going deep on this. Like we're talking deep water. Like I have to like find a Boone. Like again, there's more 7-foot people on earth than have killed one Booner. Here's an example. Like there's what is it? 23 million hunting tags sold in North America every year. Guess how many Booners are killed? Those 23 million. 3,500.
Oh fuck, I was way off.
Yeah, so 30, but still, but you're talking. Yeah. Well, okay. Now what you're saying, that's but
Samsonite. Way off.
So, but think about it: 23 million chances to kill a Boone and Crockett animal, and 3,500. That's an incredibly low number, right?
Yeah.
So your odds,
I feel like an idiot for saying 5.
Your odds are like whatever the math is on that.
Yeah.
You know, 1 in 5,000.
Yeah,
or whatever
insane.
that is. So like I'll just argue. I mean, whatever everybody does. I think the North American 29 is an amazing quest, and everybody should try to do it. I'm just saying that the way I'm doing it is cool because I have to go deep on each species. I have to learn it. I have to go back over and over and over again. Sometimes I get lucky.
Yeah.
You know, like on my bison hunt, I opening morning, I shot a Boone and Crockett, actually the Utah state record bison opening morning. Like I got so freaking lucky, unbelievably lucky. And sometimes that happens. You hunt enough, sometimes you'll get lucky.
And you take them.
Absolutely. And you're grateful.
You take them every time.
Because sometimes you're unlucky. And there's enough of those, right?
I've had those clients who are like, well, it's the first morning. I don't give a shit.
That's right.
Burn that you're not going to take. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, you hear well, if you shoot it on the first day or you shoot on the last day, shoot it on the first day type. You always hear that.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah. I never added up to me, but. Yeah.
No, it's because like I wouldn't have shot it on the first day. And I'm not going to shoot it on the last day because I've already passed it. But it was one of those like we're not going to probably get much bigger than this, but those guys always crack me up. They're like, you sure it's the first day? And I'm like, they're like, well, we're here for a week. You sure? I'm like, yeah. Take that opportunity.
Well, sometimes you second guess yourself because you're like, am I really seeing one this big on the first day? Because it's happened a couple times for me. And it's like, you almost don't shoot because you're like, am I like playing with my own brain here, talking myself into seeing something I'm not seeing?
I have a great story about that. One of those, I had an awesome client. Rifle season, he was a local. And so my first client killed out and I already had him ready to go. And so I call him like, hey, we're heading back to town, get here, you know, and it might not have been the greatest thing, but I'd always, hey, I got it. I'm sitting on a giant, get here. Right. And so cause it speeds them up. Cause if you could get him in, you get more time. Cause where I was at the time, they're only 2-week seasons. So if he could get an extra 2 or 3 days, I'd be like, hey, I'm sitting on a giant, get here. So he burns down that night. And so.
And were you sitting on a giant?
No. I just wanted to get him in because I'm trying to get him tagged out so I could have some time off to go hunt for myself. And so he gets in that night. There was like 2 hours of light left. And we're sitting at the hotel. I'm like, are you dialed? Your rifle good? I'm like, you drove. Everything good for you? He's like, I'm ready to go. He did actually just finish a doll sheep hunt 2 weeks prior, shot a doll at like 890 or something like that. Wow. One shot, pins it. So this dude's a shooter. I'm like, well, get your gun, get your orange. Let's just go for a drive. And we drive, and I had been sitting on this spot for the whole entire season. I checked it. It was one of those, I'm sure you have, where you saw something at one point and it ingrains into that location. And every time you go through there, you're right. You have to slow down and look just in case that animal's back in there.
It's good because big bucks live where big bucks live. So if you've seen one there once,
it'll be back.
Or another one.
Rolling through.
Yes.
So it was one of those, and so this was the year prior. I had a client blow it out, and it never saw it again for the rest of that season. So we're the next season over, and we're the second rifle season in. So I've gone through the whole shebang: archery, muzzleloader, rifle, archery, muzzleloader, back in the rifle. Yeah. And I'm like, let's just go check the spot out. Let's go we're just going to bomb out and get out in the hunting country. And I pull up to the same spot. And it was one of those like, please God, just let that deer show back up. I roll my window down and I see some does and I put my bino up and this deer picks its head up.
Oh man, that's the best.
And I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's back. And this dude followed me on Instagram and he pulls up the picture. And he goes, this one? And I'm
no way.
I'm like, one a little creeped out that it was that deer. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. He goes, are you sure? And I give him my binos. I'm like, bro, there's no mistaking that deer. We freaking slipped in there. He put 4 rounds in this deer. Ends up walking like 40, every one of them, just right behind the shoulder. It was a 6.5 PRC, and this mule deer was just so rutted up. It just took them all. Anyways, walks up, piles up. That deer ended up going 222 with a broken main beam, had like 16 scoreable brows on it. It was one of the craziest deer I've ever seen. But the how was one of those first. His season didn't even start until his hunt didn't even technically start till the next day.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was done a day early, and I was like, take this. We're going after this.
It's the best.
And I was not leaving that deer. I would have slept on it all night if I had to. There was no way I was letting that one get away.
Your bluff paid off.
Oh, I mean, I knew I was going to find something. I could turn anything up out there. I wasn't saying it was going to be a giant or even like, oh, I must have moved on. But yeah, it was one of those where I saw it pick its head up and it come walking out, and it was like just the rat coming out of this little drainage. And oh man, I was like, it's back. It was one of those unforgettable deer. It just had shit everywhere. And, it was really cool. Man, I bet you got some wild ass mountain stories. You ever been caught in a storm?
I mean, yeah, like every time.
A blizzard? Have you been caught in any gnarly storms where you're trapped?
So on the coast of BC and Alaska, you get like fogged in.
Okay.
Nonstop. And I mean that it's like when I plan a 10-day hunt, I know 6 or 7 of those days I'll be in my tent.
No shit.
Because you can't hunt in the fog.
Yeah, that's the worst.
You walk around, you can see 30, 40 yards. Like, and the thing about the coast is the clouds coming in off the ocean are at a level where they hit the mountain. So it's not really fog. It's the actual rain clouds just sitting on top of the mountain. And then they get broken up, and then the mountains, inland a ways don't get hit like that. So yeah, I mean, I've gone up, I've backpacked up and for 10 days and spent 9 out of 10 days in the tent.
Damn. What does that do to your psyche?
Oh, it's brutal, man. It's just one of those things you got to tough it out, but you just wish you could be outside. You wish you get like almost bed sores, like just laying there, and like you get out and it's just raining on you and you can't see anything. There's no reason to get out.
You can only do so many laps around camp.
Yeah. I mean, you bring like audio books or whatever. But I'd say, one interesting time I got stranded on Adak Island. So Adak Island, this place is wild. If you ever get the chance to go to Adak Island. So it is out on the Aleutian Island chain.
Okay.
So that's like way out, like
there.
the greatest catch kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's further west than Hawaii. That's how far out it is. It's like right off the coast of Russia.
I was going to say, how close to Russia are
It's way closer to Russia. I mean, the flight from Seattle to Anchorage is shorter than the flight from Anchorage to Adak.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it is so freaking far out there.
How big's the island?
Well, I would say it's like 25 miles by 40 miles, something like that. But it was a Cold War military outpost. So it had 2,000 soldiers and their families on it way back in the 80s. And now there's like 60 people that live there. So it is the weirdest, funkiest ghost town. There's 2 flights a week that go in there. There's 60 people. There's no hospital. There's not really any restaurants. And of course, there's 2 bars.
Always.
I mean,
because
I mean, what are these 60 people going to do with their lives?
Just drink.
But the place is wild. And there's a huge military base there. And like I was out running one day, like when we got back, and my son and my buddy went and explored. They found like an insane asylum and all this weird stuff in the military base. They're in there with flashlights going through tunnels. And anyway, it's a wild, weird ghost town. But they put caribou there for like, I guess, I mean, they said it was, to like be backup food for like the military, for the soldiers or whatever.
Okay.
But I think it was there for the military guys to hunt.
For sure.
Because like we're making these guys go to Adak. It's the worst place on earth to be at the military. Like there is nothing here. Let's at least put some caribou here so they can go hunting, right? But so we got a ride. We found this guy with a boat that would take us to the southern tip of the island. And it's not like 20 miles or whatever, but the seas out there, like you get the gnarliest weather and like giant swell. And so we snuck that. We didn't really know what we were in for, but we talked this guy into taking us down there. And we went down there and it was like 8-9 foot swells. And we're in this 28-foot boat. And it's like, you go up one side of the wave, down the other. And he drops us off. He's like, okay, well, I'll come back when I can. We're like, well, we want to be here, 8 or 9 days. Well, I'll be back when I can. 22 days later.
What?
Yeah, because it was blown out. Like there's 20 foot swells, 25 foot swells. And we're like every day, like you wake up and you go, look at the ocean, please. And then it's just these giant waves.
Giant white caps.
Like, he's never coming to get us.
You guys were stuck down there for 20.
We were killing caribou to survive. Like
what?
Yeah. And he finally got back down and it was like 12 to 15 feet. Like I'm not joking. It was gnarly. It took us like to get back, I don't know, 6 hours of just up and down these waves.
That's hell for me.
It was not fun.
You could have walked back. I feel like only 20 miles. You could have walked back in a couple of days.
It's true. I mean, it's true. And I mean, maybe it's more than 20, maybe it's more like 30, but there's a lot of water to cross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not. And we had a big camp too. Like he dropped us off at the camp. I mean, we would have had to like leave a bunch of garbage, like tents and everything. Like we brought like a wall tent type.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you guys were ready. You guys were at least prepared.
We figured a boat was dropping us off. Let's take some gear. We had like great gear, you know?
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that easy to get back, but that was gnarly. And my son Jake was with me. He was 16 at the time. We had done that Sitka blacktail hunt in August. And so we were gone a couple of weeks for that. And then we did this Adak hunt in October. That year, he spent like almost 35, 40 days or whatever in Alaska living out of his backpack, basically, as a 16-year-old. How cool is that?
Incredible.
I mean, what did my son, he missed a lot of school.
Who cares? It's school.
Dude, he would have never learned the things that he learned at school, that he learned on those hunts with me.
No.
Like things that are like literally life-changing. I mean, he tells me, frequently, he's like, man, I missed that. He's like, that was so amazing. At the time, like, he was scared and miserable and 16 years old. And, if my wife knew how bad the ocean was, she'd.
Yeah, you're not updating the wife.
Me alive. Yeah, that was gnarly.
No shit. Do you have comms are you traveling with satellite phones or anything?
Yeah. I mean, that was not too long ago. Let's see. This is 8 years ago.
Okay.
So
what's it like? Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So we had like InReach.
Okay.
Yeah. InReach is amazing. And InReach has been around for a long time now. So, And sat phones, I mean, I kind of don't use sat phones anymore now that I have Starlink.
Yeah.
So I use InReach and Starlink.
Starlink's changed the game on everything.
Yeah, I've got Starlink down to like 7 pounds, and I can backpack with it. And it's 7 pounds is a lot, but having that communication is really nice.
Especially for work.
Yeah, you can split it between 2 guys too, right? So it's not like 3.5 pounds each and you have communication. And I would take solar panels and I can recharge everything and
worth it.
Yeah. I can get about an hour a day of Starlink for a solar panel in the sun.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
And until you're fogged in for a week and then dies.
Yeah, then you got to be real careful. You do like 10 minutes a day when it's foggy.
Hey, I'm alive. Everybody's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, been there. You're like 1 bar left and you got 4 days left on your hunt. You're like, oh shit. What's it been like hunting with your kids? It's been one of the greatest things for me is now focusing on them and watching them grow, not for them, just for themselves, but to be able to grow in nature. And I feel that it changes and it builds kids in a completely different way than an Xbox PlayStation kid. How have you seen your boys? I don't know if you have a daughter. But
so 2 daughters and a son.
Okay. So
and I've hunted with all of them a lot. And my youngest daughter, she just turned 16 and she might like it more than any of them.
Really?
Yeah. She loves it. Like, and she is a killer.
Good.
Like, and she's the one I mentioned, she's like very disciplined and very structured and all of that. Like, I can't get her to shoot a normal buck. Like she's like at 11. So I guess she gets this from being around me too much and like hearing me talk all the trophy stuff or whatever. But we're hunting in Kansas and she's going to kill her first buck. She's 11 years old. And I'm like, you need to kill like a nice little 10 point, like a little 140, 150 inch deer. And there's this, I was hunting a big typical on this particular stand. And that's all I was going to shoot because I thought he might book. And another one showed up that was like a kind of a funky 6x4 with 18 scoreable points. It's like this monster, like it's a 180 inch deer. She's like, I want to kill that buck. I'm like, no, you're not killing that buck. It's your first deer. You're going to kill a normal deer. Dad, I really want to kill that buck. Jane, you're going to shoot a nice deer. You're not shooting that buck. What if it comes in? So she gets her foot in the door. Like she's a little, she's a master.
Talk about it.
Okay, fine. If it comes in, I guess I'll let you shoot it. Okay, so you're saying you'd let me shoot it. I guess
this is our little one. That's exactly how she's wired. She picks until they find a hole.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Okay. Well, what if I don't want to shoot the other bucks that come in? I'm like, you're going to want to shoot the other bucks. Okay. So here we're sitting in this nice 150 inch deer comes in. I'm like, shoot that deer. She's like, I'm not shooting that deer. Jane, that's a gorgeous buck. You may never get another chance, at least this year, at shooting a buck. Like that is a freaking beautiful buck. I'm not shooting that buck, Dad. I'm waiting for Grit. She named this deer Grit. I'm like, well, Jane, we got to go home and you're going to go back to school here in a few days. I don't know. I'm just going to wait and hunt for her. Right. So we don't kill anything. When we get home, she starts in like, Dad, we need to go back. I'm like, you've got school. And she's way into her grade, straight A student. She's like way into like, she's like, and then her mom's like, you can't go. So she starts in on both of us. I got to go back. We got to go back. And she it's an 11-year-old.
Good for her.
She convinces us to let her miss more school. I was going back anyway. But she convinces her mom to let her come with me. We did it. We went again. She sat and like 13 days into this, that buck came in. And she was crossbow hunting, right? She's 11 years old.
Gives a shit.
But she freaking smoked that giant buck.
How pumped were you?
Oh my gosh. It's the most nervous I think I've ever been.
Right?
When she was making that shot.
Right.
I have an 11-year-old shooting at a world-class whitetail that, any grown
would shit
man or
over,
woman would like,
Oh, yeah.
And she heart shot that thing like perfect. And yeah.
What a score?
It's
not your Boone and Crockett shit.
No. Yeah. Like it's 180.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know how you guys
It had some broken points and stuff, and
Yeah.
to her credit, I'm like, hey, do you want to have taxidermists put these points back? She's like, absolutely not. I want it how I shot it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well,
had like drop tines on both sides that broke off.
Oh, so you're probably pushing close to 200 inches then.
I don't know if you add it all up. It's a big buck.
In your professional experience, what would you put it at if you would have added things on?
I think mid 180s,
Okay.
But yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. Really
good for
really
you to
nice
be able
buck.
to watch and do that. And that's probably, you put the nail in the coffin of being hooked right there on the spot.
Yeah, she likes to hunt a lot, but they get old, man, and they get busy. And like, she's like, Dad, I can't hunt very much this year. I got my school and my grades and my music. And it's just, I just try to communicate to her, like, Jane, you're gonna get married. You're going to have kids. You're going to have a career. You're going to have this stuff. And you might not be able to do this again. To hunt with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to make these years count. I mean, so what if you get a B? Is that going to change your life to get a B? Is it going to change your life to not hunt with your dad? It might.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
can't guarantee tomorrow.
You're not gonna, when you're 40 years old, you're not going to look back and say, man, I wish I would have worked harder in school. You're not going to think that. You're going to think, I wish I would have hunted with my dad more while he was still around. It's hard to communicate to a 16-year-old that's like really, really set on her goals and everything else, and that this is important.
I'm with you. Then they get their mindset, and you know how it was. We've all been there, is full of piss and vinegar and everybody trying to steer us in one direction, and nope, I'm going to figure mine out. But that's been one of the greatest parts about having kids raised in the outdoors, is the unplugged, zero distraction, quality time that you get to sit with your kid on a mountain, waiting for this stupid ass animal to step out, get up, move, reposition, sitting there for 6 hours, picking bark off of a branch, playing Would You Rather, and what the hell are the games we've gone over a million times? I Spy. You're like, it's grass.
Yeah.
Like, all the games when they're little and trying to keep them entertained and keep them warm. And
there's a lot that they have to do too. There's a lot of responsibility they learn. There's so much gear to account for. Like, you have to be places at certain times. We got to check cameras. We got to do these. We got to this huge list of things to do every day. And you got to do this, and you got to do your part, and you got to, so like, they learn like a different kind of responsibility, and like, it's a good thing.
I think it helps mature them.
Yes.
Much, not in a, obviously as a dad, I don't want my kids maturing faster than they already are. Especially in today's day and age, you got 10-year-old kids that look like they're 20, but they mature in a way where they have to start thinking ahead. And I'm one of those dads, because this is how I was raised. Don't get wet. Don't lose your gear.
Yeah.
You forget it, it's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I was raised. And, being waterfowl kids, you fall in, guess what? Birds are flying. You're in the bottom of the blind, frozen. And, my dad be like, oh, this is how you learn. And then guess what?
There in his down jacket,
100% giant parka, just steam pulling out. And I'm over here dying on some rock in the middle of a river.
Right, kid.
100%. That's how I've raised them.
You forgot your Walmart jacket I gave you.
Yeah. Passed down, got it at a garage sale, armpits blown out. You got all the drafts in it. But that's where, you show your kids, and it sucks, especially having little girls on the mountain and they leave a glove or something. And you're like, well, kid, now you get to feel what it's like when it sucks. Yeah. Because now to take or you get back to camp. Hey, get your shit dry. What's the first thing we do? Take care of your biggest lesson I've ever taught my kids. Take care of your gear, and your gear will take care of you.
Yeah, I like that.
If it's wet, get it dried, because there's nothing worse than putting on wet boots, wet socks, wet gloves, wet anything, unless you're you and sleeping in it. That would be absolute torture for me. But those are the things, Al, as being in the outdoors and hunting or fishing or being whatever, those are the things that these kids start maturing. And then you see them preparing. Hey, we're leaving tomorrow. You got all your gear up? And, the first couple of seasons I'd go through and we don't need this. And hey, it's going to be 10 degrees. We don't need shorts, that type of stuff. But then now they're walking out with their duffel bag. They're loading their gear up. I'm like, you're sure you got everything? I'm not checking. I'm good, Dad. Okay. But you see that maturity level every single year, just a little bit more. And then not in the fact that they don't need you anymore, but they're now becoming that hunting partner with you, where it's, you're not babysitting. You're like, hey, let's go, let's roll. And then there's times we park, like, especially for our bears, we got certain areas. I'm getting out, she's already gone. She's already gone. And I'm walking by myself, and I get in, and she'll stop halfway up the trail. Let me know, Dad, there's a bear up this canyon. And I'm like, fuck, we're already on one. Like, and I'm still at the truck getting suited up, because they know the rhythms, the routines, how to just prepare for things. And I don't know where, I mean, through sports, obviously you can do that, but it's such a niche little way to be able to raise children to be so responsible for themselves, their gear, everything, to be able to carry out this hunt and not be miserable. And it teaches them a little bit at a time.
There's something about the accountability of Mother Nature too.
And she'll check you.
Because, you've been soaking wet on the top of a mountain with the wind blowing, and you know that you shiver and you feel like you're going to freeze to death. Right. And there's no amount of nonsense that could change that reality. Right. So when you teach your kids, like, hey, here's what you need to survive, and they go out and they break a couple of those rules and they learn, oh, Mother Nature bites back.
Yeah.
It teaches them a certain degree of like common sense.
Yes.
That transcends just that.
Yes.
So like you look at, like, I swear, I mean, not to get political here, but like some ludicrous left-wing ideologies that don't make sense. They're like counter nature. Somebody who sat on top of a mountain almost freeze to death. They know that, wait a second, we don't break the laws of nature.
Nope.
Like this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make common sense to me. And I know that common sense is a real thing because I've lived it, right? There's something about outdoors people that they understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
100% makes sense, because that's one of the biggest things in our house. One of my biggest phrases, I have t-shirts, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Because you start learning things. You learn how the real world, how nature, how Mother Nature, it's going to function with or without you. So you start learning, okay, hey, no matter how much I'm going to fight this is how God created it.
Yeah.
And that's how their minds start to think. So then when you come back and you're sitting here watching the news and you hear these people talking and how they're trying to change biological genes in these kids and letting them do all this stuff that's not natural, and like that makes no sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Make that make sense.
Right.
Well, you can't turn a grizzly, a male big boar, into a sow. Like that's
yeah.
we can't do that. It's the same in nature and humans. And so no, it's such an incredible thing to be able to just watch. And then it's almost a sad thing with your kids where, obviously we're a big rifle, we're long range. I love big, long guns. And so this is going to be her first year archery hunting. So I'm super pumped about it. And, but there comes that stage as a dad to where, hey, 280 yards, and then you see them reaching, they're dialing on their own. Instead of you
nice.
Are we leveled? Is this, you know how it is.
It's actually pretty incredible they've gotten there. It's hard to get them there because, I help too much, right? Mm-hmm. You've probably let them, suffer through that learning curve.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that's how I had to learn, because that was my dad. And I do it a little bit better now in an educational way instead of, well, figure it out. You're like, well, figure what out? I'm 12 years old. Like, do I start a fire? Do I go back to the boat? But now it's, but we spend that time with them, and then that season comes where, I'll be behind. I could be 20 yards behind her, be like, dial 2.8. And she'll be like, Dad, range. And I'll just tell her, hey, hold 6. Whatever it is. And so, but spending that time with them, and then it's just that bond. And then you get to step back one day and you just watch them from start to finish, do it all. You're like, damn, like this was all these years of us hiking. I mean, some of the worst hunts I've ever been on was with her. Yeah. I took her on a youth blacktail hunt with my buddy. He has a great outfit over there, and he kills just giant blacktail.
I love blacktails. Big
archery. He's a big archery Bubba. And so, but yeah, we went over and she ended up hammering her blacktail. God, it was a shot. But
you said it was a big buck. Hammer.
It's downstairs. It's just got trash, and it actually had a broken dropper on it. It had broken kicker. It was beautiful. And she heart punches this thing, I think, at 700 yards.
Awesome.
What was cool is where it was standing. It was an old logging road that all grown back in, but we really couldn't tell at that point, shooting cross canyon. She hits it, goes down, disappears. We knew it was dead, but it took us hours to hike to the bottom of this canyon. And then it was hours straight up in slush. So everything's kind of melting.
Her bullet crossed that canyon in a millisecond.
And I think, honestly, it took 4 hours to get to it.
Yeah.
We're soaking wet because everything's melting in slush, and we're slipping on everything. This is a lesson that she learned. Mom was like, take my boots. And I was like, I don't think those are waterproof. And she's like, they're waterproof. I'm like, okay. I get to the point as a dad, and they get to a certain age where you're right. You're right. We'll see. We'll see. Well, they weren't waterproof. So her feet are just soaked. We end up getting up to the deer hours later. It was biggest blacktail. I mean, it was an absolute stud. But the lessons that we learned on that hunt, back to the shot. She ends up shooting this deer, center punches it. You could see where the deer was standing, and then the exit where the bullet went into the snow, and I dug forever to try to find it out. But and the deer just hopped off and went down. But anyways, her packing that whole thing out and taking us hours, and then it took hours to get back to the truck because then we got to reverse everything. Dude, she was so wet and soaking. Yep. And she's like, Dad, my feet are burning. And I'm like, take your damn boots off. Let me see. I grabbed her feet, and I swear to God, the snow was warmer than her feet. Like, I'm wringing everything out. I'm like, your fucking mom, you're fucking set you. Like, I'm just pissed because now I got this to deal with. And so I ended up taking my socks off, gave her a fresh pair of socks, put her ice cold socks on, which is the worst. Yeah. Put them back in my boots, but it was the least I could do. And we learned a lot of lessons on that, but that was one of those bond. She looked back at me and was like, you know how you're working your way back to the truck and you think this is going to be there's the truck, you know, when you can see it down. Yeah. It was every time we would come out of a different area, every bend we would go around, we're like, hey, the truck's right around here. And it was not
the longest hike of your life.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
And this is why we hunt. And this is why we take our kids hunting. Mm-hmm. You never forget these experiences, and you're just not going to get them somewhere else.
No. The things that and this is where I feel, I don't know if it's bad for the antis, but the scenery, the people, the towns, the villages, backwood hillbilly, the most random shit I've been able to explore and find and see on hunting trips.
Yeah.
There's places I'll get into and be like, there is no way I ever would have found myself back here if I wasn't chasing something.
Yeah, that's right.
And the people you meet, and just, it has opened up so many incredible opportunities or just adventures and memories from just the most simplest stuff that we would probably think. But when you actually sit back and slow down and just enjoy being there and what you're looking and sunrises. I mean, you have a teenage daughters. I mean, dude, it's fucking sunset. I'm like, oh my God, let's get these pictures. You know, and so it doesn't count unless you're taking sunset pics. You know, and so it's this big joke that a bunch of buddies and I have, like, you know, teenage girl dads, and we're all like, oh, sunset pics. And so we'll actually take them and I'll send them to her and the mom every now and then just to like kind of make fun of them because you're in the middle of a hunt, you're doing like the most outdoors manly as shit, and you're pausing for a sunset picture when you got your daughter with you. It's just funny how everybody goes through life so differently. You'll
cherish those pictures someday, man.
Oh, I cherish them now.
Yeah.
I cherish them now. Well, dude, I really appreciate this conversation. I know we got to get you, you got a meeting here.
Jiu-jitsu practice, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
Who are you rolling with?
Egley Jiu-Jitsu in Boise.
She wants to start rolling soon.
It's a good gym. Egley's a good dude. He's freaking tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm meeting with one of my employees who goes to that gym.
Oh, cool.
And we're rolling, and then we're having business meetings afterwards.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the time and the conversation, man. I just wanted to talk a little bit about trophy hunting and just open people's eyes to a little bit of it. I mean, not trying to change the world, but if somebody listens to this and like, oh shit, okay, cool.
Yeah. Hopefully we represented a couple good ideas for people to see things and, you know,
somebody will get
a unique way.
Absolutely. Dude, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, it was great, man.
For the conversation.
Appreciate it.
That was great. Easy. Awesome. Easy. It's nice when people can talk.